The first series of Shadows over Waterdeep, a West Marches style game we're running. Those who are watching or listening, you'll see that it's just a blank screen or a picture and our voices. We're doing this very much in a podcast kind of way because some of us don't have cameras. That said, a lot has led up to where they're currently at, so some of you will be jumping in and kind of hearing things that you aren't familiar with, try and glean what you can. I will be releasing a YouTube video in the near future, which is just going to be me reading off the story so far. With that being stated, the group has left Waterdeep after meeting at Darkstar Manor and have left the city to the east. They've headed to the town of Oakhurst, following along the river and then crossing it to arrive at that location. The town of Oakhurst, very small village with several farming communities outside of it. You're not in the town very long, as your orders given to you by Lord Celeb Darkstar were to go to Oakhurst and only stop there briefly to go to a place known as the Sunless Citadel. Some of you have investigated rumors or used your own knowledge of the area, those of you that are trained in history, and you understand that the Sunless Citadel is a strange cavern complex not too far from the town of Oakhurst that is said to be inhabited by lower denizen vile creatures such as goblins and kobolds and the like. I will say that if you want, I can give you a little bit of information about the town of Oakhurst before the company moves out of it. The town has a village hall, a general store, a shrine, of course a jail, a blacksmith, and an inn with a tap room. If you want to kind of investigate anything in the town before you're pressed on by the company to move towards the that location, the Sunless Citadel, you can feel free to ask if you have any questions for town goers, or if there's anything in the town that you particularly want to pick up. Go ahead.
Is there a smith in town?
Of course.
An armor smith?
Blacksmith. They typically, if you go to them, you'll see that it's a pretty small building. Compared to some of the other structures. The forge appears to be on the exterior of the building, and there's a dwarf outside kind of pounding away at what looks like just common building materials, nothing too fancy. And it looks like a lot of the metal that's near him seems to have either been made into common building materials or stands to be shaped into that purpose.
So he wouldn't have any like suits of armor or anything.
Doesn't look like he has any anything too extravagant. You kind of look it over, and you do see that there are a couple of swords nearby, but they look like they're just swords that the constabulary might have.
Okay. Do you want us to describe our characters or anything like that?
Oh, we'll get to that,
Okay.
of course. But again, just to kind of immerse you into the town portion and then get you to where I want you to be, I'm kind of cutting through Oakhurst as quickly as possible. So, is there any questions that you have in the town of Oakhurst? Anything you want to do in the town of Oakhurst? Again, the company besides you guys looks like they're ready to press on. It doesn't look like there's much of a leadership to the company thus far, other than everyone has the drive and desire to complete the sortie as it's been laid out to you by Lord Celeb Darkstar, and that is go to the Sunless Citadel, find Bellic the Outcast, and return him, dead or alive, to Waterdeep.
Who or what is Bellic?
Okay. If you asked Celeb Darkstar, he tells you that he's a former member of the Darkstar Syndicate who has gone rogue. And according to his informants in the town of Oakhurst, is planning very evil and very vile actions against just humanity and the goodly people of the, not so much humanity, mortality, but the goodly folk of the realm.
Do I get the impression that this is something that lies or that falls within that falls in line with my general, because I'm lost. Like Felix is just lost.
Okay, so you're basically
Freaking idea what he's doing here.
you're in tourist mode, and it looks like a lot of the other members of the company that has traveled to here, members of the Dark Star Syndicate, it looks like a lot of them are kind of doing likewise. It does look like they're ready to press on, so you're probably falling in league with them, kind of just banding to that group.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were a magic card, you'd have the banding trait. Next, then, I guess
Awesome.
anybody else have anything that they want to expressly try and find out in the town, or if they have any. Again, I'm leaving it open on purpose. You don't have to do anything. If you are like Chad and just want to kind of get to the next point of it, just let me know that as well.
I think Alamar would like to check out the church. Like, what kind of
Okay.
church is it? Like, or is it like a open denomination church?
So it's more of a shrine than a church. It doesn't have much in the way of kind of enclosure. It almost looks like kind of a shrine outside of a smaller building. And as you kind of approach that way, you see a female gnome kind of come out. She has a very large symbol on her chest that appears to be of a sun god, based on the design of it. And she kind of looks over to you and says, "Hello, here to pay tribute to Pelor."
Oh, I am so sorry, but I follow another god, but I would still pay tribute to maybe offer a small prayer to Pelor.
Okay.
As
She gestures to the shrine. You see that there's the holy symbol she wears around her neck is pretty big, almost kind of like a Flava Flav clock necklace on the gnome. The symbol that seems to be kind of centered at the middle of the shrine is also very large, and it looks like they're made of the same cast. It looks like whoever
Right.
forged them created them from the same cast. There is a plate out in front of that symbol that does have a couple of small bits of coin, mostly coppers, but there are a couple of silver and like 1 or 2 gold pieces in there.
I'll give a gold piece.
What brings you to Oakhurst in the almost dead of winter?
Oh, this and that, and an adventure, always for adventure.
Seems like a lot of those have been coming through here today. Kind of looks around you towards the larger group, and just so you understand, like you have arrived, you 5 have arrived, but the rest of the player characters in the game have arrived as well.
Oh, we're of the same company, as it were. It's just I guess you could say we're late arrivals.
No, very good, very good. Well, thank you for the tribute. What god did you say you worshipped?
I follow the joyful god Liarla.
Okay. Well, I'll ask Pelor to make sure your good fortune is distributed to you by your god.
Much appreciated. Have a joyful day.
You as well. Let's see. Kind of looking around, seeing the rest of your group, you do notice that there is a kind of burlier fellow kind of standing outside of the inn, kind of looking at everybody as they move about. Looks like he's shut his door behind him as he's exited out to watch you guys. You can see a couple of people have set up their steeds at that same location, kind of strapped to the side of the building. And other than, it looks like most of the activity is happening at that specific building. But other than that, it's a pretty quiet town. There's not a lot of snow on the ground, just like a light kind of peppering of it. The travel here wasn't too cold compared to colder days that have come to you in this winter. But it definitely does feel just quiet here. Like you may have doubled or added by half the number of people that are in the village proper just by arriving with your group.
So it's like a little town, village out of nowhere.
Yeah, you would assume just based on travels that this village is this seems to be the center of activity for the village, but because of the weather, most people are out in their farmhouses. So no, there's not a lot of activity in the town proper. Most people are staying warm and keeping to themselves. All right. Nat, entering into the town, seeing it as it is, do you have any anywhere you want to check out before you're moving on, or are you with Felix, rather, in moving on?
Pretty much, yeah. Film doesn't speak a lot or have interest. She just kind of watches and assumes everyone else knows what they're doing, so follows along.
Gotcha. And Kai, what about Everin?
Is the company feeding us, or do we have to provide our own food?
Yeah, so you do have provisions that have been supplied to you. It seems as well that in discussions before you left, it sounds like a supply line will be established between the general store, which is run by, from what you overheard, an individual named Carowin Hucriel. And basically that general store will be supplying provisions for your group once they've set up camp at the dungeon, the Sunless Citadel.
Okay, that sounds good. In that case, he'll just probably spend some time scavenging for nice pieces of wood to carve or make ammo later with.
Okay. Yeah. It definitely it's as nice as you can get. Some of it's a bit wet. Definitely would need some drying out as it's been sitting kind of about. But yeah, you found a couple pieces. Kevin, what about Thanok, who to you guys is kind of an imposing figure? But what is there anything that I've mentioned that stirs your attention or no?
Yeah, as he would walk by that man that left the inn, you know how you said he left the door and shut it. And was standing there watching us.
He kind of exited his establishment, shut the door behind him, and is now standing outside with his arms crossed next to his door, kind of looking at you guys as you.
I'd kind of stroll up to him, and I'm really big, and I would look down at him and be like, "Do you know Belak?" And I would just stare at him.
About 13 years ago, a grim-looking human named Belak stopped by here. He had a very large pet frog. We've seen him come and go, but not so much lately.
Okay, if you see him, tell him I'm looking for him.
Yeah, will do.
And then I would just walk off.
All right. Before you walk away from the shrine after dropping an offering, the gnome kind of reaches out and kind of tugs on your coat, Alamar, and says, "Excuse me, are you and your adventurer friends planning on going to the Sunless Citadel?"
I believe we are.
Oh, a very good friend of mine, Sir Bradford. He traveled that way about a month ago, with a couple of other adventurer types. The son and daughter of the Lord Merchant, Lady Hucriel, and another fellow ranger type. But he was a servant of Paylor, and if you could find out what happened to him and possibly return his holy symbol to me, it'd be most appreciated.
I'll be glad to help you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to cut to us moving to the Sunless Citadel. Before you arrive there, I'm going to go from left to right, according to my Roll20 screen, and ask you to just describe your character and kind of your attitude as you've been traveling in the company. It's already been kind of alluded to by Nat, but we'll go ahead and get it again. Nat, tell us a little bit about Vilm.
Well, Vilm's a wood elf, but there's a different appearance to her, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but there's something that's not quite right. She does have longer ears than most elves. She wears a lot of leather and furs and things like that, dark browns and greens. She's got long green hair that she's got braided out front, and her eyes do have a green glow to it. She doesn't talk much. In fact, most of you have probably not heard her talk at all.
Okay. Kai, tell us a bit about Everin.
Evan's a fairly common-looking human man. He's pretty gaunt-looking, or gaunt frame, dark hair, shortly trimmed beard. His clothing is old and sort of worn, but his equipment appears well-maintained and practical. He also has a faded red cord tied around his left wrist. And he was a former investigator for the City Watch of Waterdeep, so he's tracked down a lot of criminals within the city, and he's basically like an urban ranger.
Okay. So, good. And Kevin, we've already kind of alluded to your character's size, but let's go ahead and get a more detailed description of Thanos.
Sure. He is a tall Goliath. He is almost 8 foot tall. Weighs about 320 pounds, but to me, can't even relate to that because he's really tall. You know what I mean? It's hard to. So I don't know if that sounds right. But he's tall and very muscular, extremely muscular. He has blue eyes, grayish skin, and you know how usually the art for a Goliath shows like they have like weird war paint or whatever, or this
Tattoos.
whatever. Yeah. So what I was going to say is there are tattoos like symmetrically on his face and any parts of his body that you can actually see, which are like his face and maybe parts of his arms, but he has scale mail armor on, and it actually looks like it's a little bit small for him, but it still seems to provide protection because he's so big. I mean, think of like the Mountain if you watch Game of Thrones, and he's clean shaven, and he has a lot of pelts on him, and he actually came down from a village in the mountains recently into Waterdeep, and so he's real kind of happy that he signed up for this Dark Star Syndicate, so he would have some
work.
Some work to do, yeah.
Sounds good. All right, Chad, tell us a little bit about Felix.
Felix. Hold on a second. I actually wrote this description down earlier.
Take your time.
Yeah, I know, right?
if you need a second, I can get to.
He's wearing a heavy fur cloak, something that he picked up because he knew that they were heading into a colder climate and that winter was on the way. But he has a lean profile, but with the cloak on, he actually looks kind of intimidating because it sort of fills out his silhouette. And let me see. So he has long, dark hair that's draped over his shoulders. He's got a square, handsome jawline that sports a few days' growth of dark beard. He looks pale, but he doesn't look like corpse pale. Just someone who hasn't really had a whole lot of sun. He's wearing scale mail, and all the scales look like pitted black iron. And he has cold gray eyes.
Okay. All right, and then last but not least, Matt, tell us a bit about Alamar.
Alamar is a wood elf. He's about 6 footish. I really haven't given him a final height, but he's relatively tall. And he has the coppery tan skin. And he has long brown hair. Goes down around below his neck. And he has these really bright hazel eyes, and he always seems to have a smile on his face. It's mainly because of his god he worships. It's the god of joy, so he always tries to find joy. But his outfit is your typical, well-maintained traveling clothes. Like right now, it's sensible for warm weather, cool weather, but you see under that some studded leathers, and you see on one hip a whip, on the other a well-maintained rapier.
Very good. And of course, the other members of the company are with you. It gets to a point where this white-haired gentleman kind of posts up and sets a spear with flag in the soil, and other members of the company, you see a dwarf with a gnarly-looking mohawk and a turtle who's kind of walking around with a strange club, a gentleman with a really just fancy-looking hair, another white-haired gentleman, this one being an elf, a human, roguish-looking type, and a couple of people whose forms aren't exactly specific. I'll leave that to future games for description. But those individuals start kind of unloading packs, and there's a wagon that's been taken with you from the town of Oakhurst to this location. And the white-haired gentleman kind of looks to you five, kind of pulling you together, and says, "You'll be the first company to go in. Good luck. And we'll be here setting up camp and making sure you have a place to retreat back to." Kind of gives you a nod. And it looks like they start to set up camp. The time of day is probably about midday, afternoonish. By the time you arrive, where you can see on the horizon what looks to be kind of a cleft in the plains, and kind of to the north from that strange cleft in the dirt, or cleft in the plains rather, you see that the plains have kind of become blackened to the north. It looks like they're just covered with ash and soot, like completely just ruined land. If you're trained in history, then you would know that those are known as the Ashen Plains, and you would know that the cleft in the earth is the dungeon that you've been told about, the Sunless Citadel. I'm assuming that the group will kind of maneuver themselves to that location to investigate. That being said, you do see that the strange cut in the earth, the old road that you kind of moved down to, you see that the cleft, there are several broken pillars that jut from the earth where this ravine basically widens. Two of the pillars stand straight, but most lean atop sloped earth. Others are broken, and several have apparently fallen into the dark depths of the ravine. A few similar pillars are visible on the opposite side of the ravine. There is a sturdy knotted rope that's tied to one of the leaning pillars on your side of the ravine. And I'm going to show this handout to you all, showing pretty much what I've described.
Looks like we're gonna have to climb down this ravine.
Oh, well, it'll be good exercise for us.
Okay. Let's see.
Do we have
Sorry.
any roguey types?
Sorry, apologies. Does anybody want to engage in any activity in particular? And does anybody have a passive investigation? I'd say.
I'm trained in it. Is that what you
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, you're good. So you would just kind of look around and just being as inquisitive and investigative as you are, scrutinizing the area with your eyes, you see that the area in and around the pillars seems to have hosted many small campfires. Even though there's a bit of snow on the ground and the stones are kind of up above the snow, you can see that there are areas where there does appear to have been camps. Some of them as recently as a month ago. It does look like someone did go to the effort to try and hide the evidence of the camps from casual scrutiny, but you're able to spot them. You also notice what looks like writing on the pillars. It appears to be in the Davik script, or Dwarvish alphabet.
I read Dwarvish. What does it say?
It doesn't make much sense. I guess the best way to kind of explain what I mean by that is, if you speak English, you can't read Latin, even though they kind of use, well, not so much Latin, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the script.
It seems like the alphabet's the same. Some of the words do kind of stand out, but they seem to be like in a different language.
I speak giant. Is it giant?
It's not. But yeah, very, very similarly to, like, I guess my first example, English and Latin. There are some words you can kind of make out because the root language is kind of the same. It does appear that some of these are kind of warnings or possibly threats.
Oh yeah, I'll let my companions know and see if anyone can actually read it.
Okay. If anybody speaks Goblin, that'd be key.
Afraid I don't.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
So is this rope that's tied on to this post, is it going down into the ravine?
Sure is.
I'm going to test the strength of it by pulling on it a little bit.
Very, very sturdy. The pillar that it's tied to, it's probably somewhere around 3 feet wide. And just based on the size and look of the ones that are kind of jutting out and the broken ones, it must go into the earth some 20 feet.
Ah. Well,
How much do we know about each other?
Great question. However much they want to know, I mean, you've described yourself as a former member of the Watch, so they would...
Yeah, basically I'm just curious what everyone's playing.
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm a fighter.
I'm a paladin of Liar. I'm probably gonna be botching that name a lot because of the way it's spelled.
It's okay. It's your character. I'm going to do my best to try and say names of other gods. Chad, do they kind of identify what you are based on what you got? You have a weapon, right?
Yeah, I have a spear and a shield.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, just glancing at me, I look like a fighter, but at the same time, I don't carry myself in the way that a fighter typically would, so you're not quite sure what to make of me. Felix is he's a half-elf. I mean, he's got the elfin ears, but he also has facial hair, which I believe pure.
Yeah, they can't have facial hair.
Elves don't have facial hair.
That's correct.
So,
Okay.
and he constantly looks like he's lost in thought, or he's trying to, he's thinking of some sort of a problem or puzzle.
Unrelated to what's currently going on. Distracted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then... go ahead.
No, that's
Okay.
it. You nailed it.
And then Everin, I mean, what do you look like? You look like a investigator type of watchman?
No, he looks like a poor guy.
Honestly, for those...
he quit the guard, so he lost all his issued equipment.
Fair. From
He also lost his pension.
Yep.
Mention
I'll be completely honest.
horrible discharge.
From the picture that you chose for your character, he looks like grungy Josh Groban. Which...
So grungy is right.
Yeah, it's pretty stellar. And then Nat, I assume, I mean, just based on your description so far.
I'm a raging barbarian who can knock Thanaga in one hit. I'm not.
She's pretty lithe, correct? The wood elf, and she's wearing kind of like leathers, right?
Leathers, plant-like. You can pretty much tell what she is.
No metal weaponry or anything like
No.
that on her. Yeah. So the more keen-eyed of you would kind of know that the very quiet one appears to be a druid. That said, yeah, the line, Kevin, does appear to be very sturdy, and the thing that it's connected to doesn't seem to be knocked downable or breakable with any. I mean, you're pretty sure even if you called the rest of the company over to help, it would be an effort to try and break that pillar.
I guess the whole point I was just wondering if anyone had the light cantrip, but I'm just gonna light one of my candles and just drop it down the ravine.
Yep, I have dark vision, so I don't have to really worry about that.
Well, if it's further than 60 feet deep, then
Yeah. So you take a candle and drop it.
after I light it.
Yeah, of course. Roll me a D100.
Oh, it's only 12 feet deep.
No,
We're good.
not a good
Yeah.
start.
What did you get for me?
12.
Okay, so as you watch the candle kind of wisp off, the wind that's kind of blowing through the ravine that you kind of notice as the rope kind of moves causes the light of the candle to whip out, and you also see that the candle, not being very heavy, doesn't exactly drop directly down like you had anticipated. It kind of veers off to the south a bit, and kind of away from directly down where the rope goes. Despite the rope's movement in the wind, it doesn't seem to be like flying off. So there must be something heavy at the bottom of it that's holding the rope down.
I say, all right. I grab a torch, use a tinderbox to light it, and I hold it in one hand. And I say, all right, I can climb down and hold this in my left hand, and using my legs and my arm, and I'll wait for you guys down there. So then I just go ahead and start climbing down.
Sounds good.
Got my shield on my back, so it doesn't get in my way.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check, and if I recall correctly, don't the Goliaths gain advantage on that?
Let me
No,
check it.
they're just proficient automatically.
Okay.
Proficient in it.
Sorry, I got my 4th ed mixed with my 5th.
That's all right. Let's see what my first roll of the game does.
I know
I
there
hope
were.
you fail.
What? What did it go? I didn't even see it. Did it come up?
No.
Oh, good. I thought maybe it didn't. It didn't show up on my screen yet.
Oh my god, I called it!
Oh, damn it!
I called it!
What?
Why would you do that?
Cursed me.
Real quick. You have advantage because the rope is knotted. What did you get?
I got a 1, which was an 8, and then a 21 was my second roll.
The 21 is what we'll go with. Again, the rope is knotted.
Thank
So you are
goodness.
you are climbing with advantage. The rope is not slick. You are using there is a moment where you kind of almost stumble and fall, but because it's knotted, you're able to secure your feet, take a second, and kind of muscle your way down.
That's my falling damage.
Oh, jeez.
That
Based
would be horrible, wouldn't it?
You rolled amazing on that.
Based on your descent and the torchlight and kind of looking down with your dark vision, you can see that 50...
I don't have dark vision in this
Oh.
edition for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Oh well.
Based on your normal sight and the torchlight and the sunlight above kind of descending down, it doesn't come down very much, but just based on the light that you have, what you're able to identify is that the rope leads down to a ledge that's some 50 feet down, and then it's just complete shadows around the ledge. But you're able to descend down. Does anybody climb down the rope while he's on it, or do you wait for him to descend down?
I'll wait till he gets down.
Yeah, wait for him to
Same.
get to the bottom.
When I get to the bottom, I'd
Okay.
pull my shield out and hold the torch in one hand and the shield in the other, just kind of looking around, being on guard.
Okay, 1 second here. So everybody should be able to see the map that I pulled you to, right?
Correct. How
Some of
far
you-
down is that first ledge?
50 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys can see the ledge, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure no one's outside of the grid. Okay. So as you descend down to it, Kevin, it's a sandy ledge that overlooks a subterranean gulf of darkness that kind of descends down to the west. The ledge is wide but rough, and sand, rocky debris, and the bones of small animals seem to cover this landing as you step out onto it. You can hear the breaking of what might be like a rat bone underfoot. A rough-hewn stairwell seems to zigzag down the side of the ledge, descending into the darkness.
All right, I'm gonna wait till another person gets down here before I move around.
And hold on a second here. Whoosh.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Dynamic lighting for the folks at home.
Hold on.
Brought to you by Roll20.
And your torchlight should be activated now.
Yes, it's activated.
If you're searching around and keeping an eye out, go ahead and do me a favor and make a perception check or a wisdom survival check. Your choice.
Oh, dang it, I had already rolled it, but that's all right.
Okay, what'd you get?
5.
Okay, you're just kind of looking around, looking up to see who's coming down next. Who is coming down next?
I'll go next.
All right. Athletics check from you, please.
Oh boy, I'm not so good with these. Could I maybe just do some sort of acrobatic way of going down, just sliding down the rope and.
Because you are descending, I will allow acrobatics. I can kind of think of a way that would work. Yeah, that's fine.
17.
So basically, instead of climbing, what you're doing is using your legs and kind of like holding them together, then leaning backwards, grabbing like the next knot of the rope, and then folding yourself over yourself, and then catching your feet on the rope, and then rolling yourself back and over. So basically, you're tumbling down the rope. It's a little faster than climbing, from what you detect, but you're not really aware of anything as it's happening, and neither is the Goliath, who is just kind of looking at that going, oh, confusing. And he doesn't notice that from the wall behind him bursts out of the wall, a hole in the wall that he didn't pay attention to or see, a large rat that bites at his ankle.
Oof.
We don't have to blame people. It's a rat.
Ugh, disgusting creatures.
Great.
The rat will have advantage because it's attacking you off guard. You're off guard. So, just so you guys are aware, we make our attack rolls in the Marches games out in the open, and we don't flub the rolls. So, just be aware there is a lethality to the Marches game that may not be present in your normal game. So, that said, an 18 against your AC.
And 18 will hit.
Take 3 points of piercing damage.
Ouch. Alright, I will. I'm still alive, folks at home.
I would say at the engagement of this, Alamar, you are 20 feet above them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For your acrobatics movement, you can move at half speed, so during the next turn. And then whoever is at the top of the rope, you guys can see down, right?
Yep.
So you have 50 feet distance between you and the engagement. I would like for Nat, though, before we get into initiative rolling, can you do me a solid and roll me a wisdom survival check? Rats don't attack solo. You are certain that if there's a rat and it's attacking something, it's doing so with the confidence of the fact that it has a pack.
Alright.
Natural.
So yeah, at that she's going to look a little frightened.
Alright. Everyone roll initiative.
Wow.
Wow, look at us.
Oh boy.
Go team!
And real quick, when you rolled initiative, did you select your token?
There we go.
Yeah, you got to select a token first. Okay, cool. All right.
Nice. A paladin's ready to go.
Okay, Everin.
That should never happen ever. Why is the paladin going so wide? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm kind of going against the mold here. I'm a dex-based paladin.
I'm so impressed. You're the best paladin I've ever seen, ever. Just saying that right now.
Everin, you're very inquisitive and very perceptive, and you notice the situation as it's arising. You also notice a bit of distress in the druid, Vilm's face as she kind of looks worried down at the situation, and you see down there that there's a rat that has come out of the wall and seems to be latching onto your associate Thanok's leg. What would you like to do?
I'll step aside away from the rope in case someone else wants to go down. I'm not sure where the rope is exactly.
Assume it is right here.
Okay, so I guess I'll. Yeah, Alamar's on the rope. Okay.
Correct. Sorry,
I'll step over there.
Step off to the side. Okay.
I'll pull out my hand crossbow and I'll take 2 shots at disadvantage because it's too far away.
Okay. Roll me. Sorry. Roll me a 20-sided dice, please.
Just take out your thing and play
Okay.
taps.
So, real quick note for those watching at home: he rolled for his first attack a natural 1 on the dice he'd be utilizing, and in this game we go with fumble saving throws, so that a fumble doesn't automatically do something crazy bad. Instead of having that be the case, a fumble has a chance of doing something crazy bad, but more often than not will be a miss. So they roll a saving throw. If they get really bad, it's really bad. He did not. He rolled a 15 on his saving throw for the fumble. Good deal. And then your second shot?
12.
Okay, that will actually hit. Damage? Thanok, you kind of look to this thing aggravated and just angry, and you're kind of getting ready to, wrench your weapon, up and kind of smash it down. But then you see a bolt kind of like skitter across the stone and kind of bounce off into the darkness, and then you see another one slam into the giant rat's head cleanly and impale it to the ground beneath it.
Whoa, watch it.
All right. Alamar, you are 20 feet above Thanok at current. And I would say, based on your positioning, you are head over heels. So your legs are above your head. If you wanted to draw weaponry, you could from your current position. If you wanted to fire range weaponry, you'd be doing so as if you were prone.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll just keep going down since I don't see any other rats or anything like that.
Okay. I'll say that you can go ahead and kind of move down 15 feet and then drop the last 5 feet, not take any damage, and kind of land on either side. Yep.
I just look at the dead rat and his stick is like, barbecue tonight?
At his comment, you have an action still. Do you want to do anything with it?
I'll just take my rapier out and look around, see maybe there's any other rats or
Make a perception
creatures.
check.
Let's see. 17.
So your action was the perception check, just so you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of looked at the wall behind you and see that there are a couple of these strange holes. And in two of them, one kind of here-ish to your... Sorry, let me ping that again. To your... If you're looking at the wall, your right.
Mm-hmm.
And one to the left, you see that there are red glowing eyes that are reflecting the torchlight back. They appear to be about the same size and structure as the rat with a bolt in its head.
Looks like we'll have a fine meal tonight.
Do you want to say anything to Thanok as he takes his turn?
Yeah, I just point out the hole like when I say that, and he should be able to see the red eyes after that.
Correct.
Awesome. So, my turn?
Yeah, and they're inside of the holes, those ones.
Alright, I would... Oh boy, inside a hole. Okay. In that case, I would move over here, and as I'm moving, I would like pull out my dagger from my sheath.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not a dagger, this is a dagger. And then I'm gonna say cheesy lines. I poke it right in at the eyes.
Okay, you reach in and stab at it. Okay, because you're using a piercing weapon, you won't have disadvantage, just regular attack. But 10 is not good enough to do it.
10 is not going to hit. Alright. In that case, I'll be like, they're wily little rascals.
So, as you kind of, just for cinematic purposes, you reach in there and start stabbing around, you look over your shoulder back at Alamar and say, they're wily little bastards, and then you feel it kind of wind in and attack you. It's going to try and bite your arm. It fails, but you feel it kind of grasp against your armor, like your gauntlet or greave or whatever's on your arm.
Yeah.
My brain's not working right now. But you feel it kind of bite against you, and then you kind of like snap your arm back out. The other one will... Bracer, that's the word I wanted. Thanks, Kai. The other one pops out and will go for Alamar. 8 will miss.
Yes, it will.
All right. So, as you guys have been kind of moving, it is Vilm's up. Just a note for... we'll read off a bit of here. Felix is peering over the ledge, glancing at the recent developments. He's just kind of pondering to himself. And Vilm's kind of whispering to herself. Go ahead and, Nat, what would you like to do?
So the rats went back in the hole currently, correct?
No, there's one that's out, and there's one that's in. The one that's in is this one against Thanok, the giant, or Goliath. And then the one that's against the paladin is out, visible.
Alright, I'll lean over the edge and shoot my bow at it.
Take a shot.
Or not. Weird. Terrible.
Alamar, as you're kind of, turning about and dodging the rat, you hear a loud thunk and kind of look over to the fire pit to your side and see that there is an arrow kind of sticking out of the middle of it. perfect shot if that was what you're aiming for. But Felix, what would you like
I'm
to
heading to the fire.
So from up there on the top of the ledge, which one of them can I see?
Just the one that is against Alamar, the paladin.
Okay. So Felix, for a second, Felix is thinking he should reach for his spear, but instead his arm shoots forward, and purple and black energy just blasts out of his hand.
Okay.
Cool.
You guys watch as a bolt of dark energy flies down and hits the rat directly in the top of its head. Go ahead, click for damage. It kind of hits it and kind of like causes to slam its head against it, but then it kind of shakes its head and kind of like not even understanding what has happened. Doesn't seem too. There isn't much misgivings in its eyes after it's blasted by
hilarious.
Energy. For those at home, he rolled a total of 2 damage with his Eldritch Blast. All right.
You level 2.
For sure. Everin, you're up.
If no one else is going down the rope, then I'll go back towards the rope, 10 foot, and then I'll take a shot at the rat that's exposed.
Okay.
11, which I believe misses. I'll take another one. 15.
That'll work. Dead on accuracy tonight, my friend. They have exactly 7 hit points. First attack you dealt was 7. This one had 2 damage against it. You, Alamar, you watch as a bolt kind of hits against the stone and then hits against the stone near the top of your head and then bounces off and kind of, into the darkness. And then as you're looking away from the rat, you hear and you look back to it, and it's got a bolt stuck in the top of its head, much like the first rat that died.
I yell out, "Excellent shot!"
I just sort of nod, but he probably doesn't see that. And I'm gonna slide down the rope.
Okay. You have how much movement? 20 feet remaining?
Yep.
Okay.
So 10 foot.
Yeah, because it's knotted. Yep. You can't really slide down it. That's cool.
Go down.
Fair enough. 10 feet. So 40 left for you. Alamar?
Since that one's taken care of, I'll just help out over here and try to stab at it with my rapier.
Now, because of the current situation, the Goliath kind of has his body against the hole. He's moved his arm out. So because you're crowding, if you're going to attack in the hole, you'll have disadvantage. However, if you'd like, another option for you is you can grant him advantage by giving him the help action and kind of like aid him by like trying to, do something to help out. And you can take that.
Yeah, I can do something like that. Like maybe, is like try to help smoke it out a bit.
Yeah, so you kind of clang on the side of it to kind of scare it to one side, giving him like a direct angle at it. Yeah, that works perfect.
Right.
Cool. Then you would have advantage on this attack if you're using your dagger again. Go ahead and just make your attack roll.
All right, let's do this, people. There we go.
That'll hit. Damage. So, as it kind of like clangers into the one side of the hole, the Goliath kind of just reaches in, and you hear a and then he kind of pulls the rat out. Basically, as he's pulling it, he seems to be gutting it as well, and kind of like floppy dead rat just kind of spews out of the hole all over the Goliath's arm. Delicious. Okay. Good deal. Now, just so you are aware, you did just complete an encounter. But for the West Marches game, what we're doing is I'm recording the experience total off to the side, and you only level on a long rest. You do not level just when you attain the experience total. So that said, I did not get a athletics roll or an acrobatics roll from Kai. Okay, again, you have advantage, so you're good. And I assume the others are going to climb down as well, right?
Yep.
So I'd like one from Nat and Chad, please.
Ooh.
Okay.
I hope we're
Luckily, you have
15 words.
advantage.
That doesn't make a difference.
Well,
Oh no.
the target number is 10, and you didn't fail by more than 4. So you do start to fall, but you only kind of just, get some scratches on yourself and on the way down, and kind of like burns on your hands and the like. You'll take 2 points of damage, and the damage is kind of nebulous. You don't have any resistances or anything, right?
Nope.
Okay. Because I was going to say, we'll play to your resistances and kind of make it so that's the case. But yeah, just 2 points of damage.
We can retrieve half the ammo used, correct?
Wow, we have 10 people watching. That's cool. One of them is asking for Matt in the chat in Twitch, so you're
Hey, Sean.
much cooler than me. Fair enough. One day I'll be cool.
Do we have a link? Do we have a Twitch link?
Yeah, it's This Mind of Mine. www.twitch.tv/thismindofmine. All one word. Anywho, enough about myself. Back to you guys. You're on the ledge. As I've mentioned, there are some holes in the stone. There does appear to be a fire pit that looks like it hasn't been used in a while. Another thing you notice too is there do appear to be footprints all about the ledge. Some of them being rat-sized footprints, paw prints really, and there do appear to be some human-sized or maybe smaller footprints as well.
Let's search the area, guys.
Could I investigate the
Let's do
human footprints?
Okay. I hear Kai's wanting to roll an investigation check. Okay. Nat, do you have anything you want to do while you're on the platform here?
Other than tend to my rope burn.
If
Yeah, she's distracted right now. She's like, really?
if you were playing Searshaw, you could just dump water on it. Anywho,
Rub dirt in it, Elf. It'll be fine.
Alamar, anything in particular on the ledge that you want to investigate or check out?
I'm just looking around, like,
Okay.
this is like, maybe something catches my interest or anything like that.
So what you're looking at, just so you know what you're kind of looking at, the ledge is basically over a huge chasm. Like the ravine that you were looking at from before, it was just shadows, but you're kind of looking at the darkness now, and it's a bit more intimidating now that you're inside of it. What you can feel is that the wall opposite of the wall you're against is some 250 feet away from you to the west. And the bottom of the subterranean vault must be somewhere around 80 or so feet down these strange-looking steps. You're certain that just the immensity of this place, it feels very, very big. But the other thing you're noting, too, is that there seems to be something in the darkness, like 80 feet down and somewhere in between the western wall and the wall you're on. There's something looming in the darkness. It's not something living. It's not something like, that intimidating. It just feels like there's a structure there. You're not sure what it is. Chad, is Felix doing anything in particular besides looking up into the darkness, or?
He stares off in the general direction of where you said there was a structure.
Yeah.
He starts thinking really hard about if this place seems familiar to him or if he knows anything about it.
Are you trained in history?
I am.
Make a history check.
Man,
No,
I'm on fire tonight.
not particularly, other than what you've heard on the lead up to your trek to Oakhurst. You know it's a place called the Sunless Citadel. You don't know why it's called the Citadel. The Sunless part obviously makes sense. It's concealed from the sun. But just based on that looming kind of presence in the shadows, you assume there's a structure there, and you assume that's the Citadel in question.
While we're looking around, could I possibly, cast Divine Sense? Maybe I can sense something beyond anything?
If you want to initiate Divine Sense, it has a 60-foot range, right?
Right.
So just to give you DM hints, before you utilize it, you do know that the Citadel in question, this structure, is some 80 feet beneath you, and it's somewhere
okay.
in between. Yep. Okay, cool. The descent would be the next step. So that said, it does feel like these steps are very rough-hewn stone, and it does look like wind has blown across these steps to make them kind of slick and rounded at their edges. So they're very precarious if you were to try and run up or down them. But if you kind of walk, at a decent pace, you're not really, in much harm of anything. If you guys have ever been to like an older castle in Europe or anything, I don't know if you have, but yeah, basically very kind of just wind-worn and weathered. From what you can tell, though, as you descend, there does appear to be the looming shadow of a fortress that is emerging from the darkness. It's a subterranean citadel. Though impressive, it seems long forgotten. If the lightless windows, cracked crenellations, and leaning towers are any indication, all is quiet, though a cold breeze does blow from above down to this place below, and it brings with it the scent of dust, snow slightly, petrichor, and a faint trace of rot.
That's not good.
It's no good.
All right, is everybody following still?
Oh, was there anything interesting about the tracks near the camp?
Oh, sorry, you investigated, and I totally just skipped you. What did you get on the investigation check?
I didn't roll because I was wondering if that's survival or just investigation.
Either
Those
or.
Tracks.
Either or.
If it's humanoids, then that's with advantage. If it's not, then it's
Okay.
14.
14. It would be humanoid, so what'd you get? With the advantage?
Natural 20, so 24.
Really good. So what you can tell is the tracks, there do appear to be goblin tracks present, and they're intermixed with humanoid tracks. The humanoid tracks are older. It looks like the humanoids here probably sometime maybe a month or so ago. The goblin tracks appear ever present, more recent, but at the same time also older than that time as well, if that makes sense.
So how recent would the goblin tracks seem?
Maybe a week or two. Or, sorry, a 10-day or two. 10-day or one. Just one 10-day. Sorry. I pre-gamed by drinking some scotch. So, I mean, I feel like I'm doing good. Doing real good. In your march down the steps, it's obviously going to be in a single file fashion. I'd like to know who is first in your line.
I will go first.
I'll be right behind.
Okay, so it'll go Thanok and Alamar, and then
I'll go.
I'll take fourth then.
Can I transfer my torch to somebody else who can hold it while I hold my axe?
does someone else want to hold the torch?
I can light my lantern and just hang it on.
Oh, that's cool. Then do that. I'll put the torch
Felix
out for
is going to
later.
bring up the back, and he's going to keep his eyes like basically head on a swivel, arm outstretched, Eldritch Blast at the ready.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm having some issues with lag. Just bear with me here for a moment. This next map is pretty big.
Before we start heading down, I'll just sort of warn them about the goblins. Be careful of the dark.
So it
There's
goes
goblins about.
Goliath, Paladin, Druid, Josh Groban, and a Chadlock, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Chadlock. That's very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Some of you will not be able to see a thing. You're technically off map. You'll be able to see your own token, maybe others, but you're technically off map. There are 2 of you that are on map, because the stairwell kind of alludes to that. As more people move onto the map, I'll be releasing you. I'm going to pull you guys to the map. It should be completely black, but if you scroll to the right and then scroll down, you should be able to find yourself. Let me know once you've found yourself, once everybody's set and ready to go.
If you shift click, it'll point
Yeah,
everyone there.
there's also that.
Shift click. Shift click.
Only the DM, I mean, can do it.
Oh, what?
Oh, I just did
Told me
it.
the secret, but it doesn't work.
The DM can center everyone's view on his click, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Oh,
did it work?
I don't know. I just moved my view around, so I found it.
Yeah, I lit my lantern too, so I'll
Okay.
provide the light.
I
for-
found it.
Let me get you set on light. And it's 40/20, right?
Let me double check. I think it's just 3060.
Oh, it's a hooded lantern?
Yeah, hooded lantern.
Okay.
Yeah, 3060.
Alright, so you are lit, but like I said, you're off map technically.
Okay.
Alright. And then you still have a torch, right? Kevin?
If nobody was gonna hold it, then I'll just hold it myself.
Okay.
Then I can at least see.
Should be lit.
It's lit.
Alright.
Mhm.
So the narrow stairs empty into a small courtyard, apparently the top of what was once a crenellated battlement. The buried citadel has sunken so far into the earth that the battlement is now level with the surrounding floor. That floor stretches away to the north and south, composed of a layer of treacherous crumbled masonry, which reaches to an unknown depth. To the west looms the surviving structure of what must be the Sunless Citadel. A tower stands on the west side of the courtyard. You can see the tower past the battlements there. Like I said, crumbled masonry on either side, just piling up, very treacherous, probably not too passable, specifically on the southern side, which I pinged. You do see that there is a door to the tower just up ahead. What would you like to do?
I'd like to study the surrounding area, see if anything looks strange to me.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I got a 14 for the people at home.
It does appear that in some of the crumbled masonry to the south, there do appear to be very similar holes to what you saw up in the landing. But that said, you don't see any movement or anything. You're not seeing anything kind of present in there. But what you do see is that the far back end of one of the holes, bright red lights kind of glowing back against your torchlight. You presume that there's another giant rat embedded inside of the hole there.
Okay. I think what I would do then is I'd like to go, lay my torch down right next to me, and then kind of like charge right up against it, hold my axe, and kind of wait until it pops its little rat head out, and then I kind of chop it. That's what I want to do. Because I figure if we all come down here, it'll be attractive to us. So was it like right here, you said, maybe? Is that close enough?
Yeah, to the south end there. Yep.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to hold that ready, and then I'm going to kind of wave to bring everybody else down.
Okay.
All the meat.
Alamar, you're second in line, so you would come out and you would see the courtyard as it stands. There is a door across the way. Anything you would like to do?
Well, I see him like waving me down, so I'll like get behind, get my rapier ready when waiting for whatever he saw.
Okay. And then next up is Vilm. You step out onto the courtyard. I'm going to go ahead and put you just in this first square. And anything you want to do once you get there. It does look like they're very focused on the rubble pile to the south end. The light of the lantern coming up behind you as as Everin steps up behind you.
I'm just gonna have a quick look around from where I am.
Okay, perception check, please.
24.
Really good. You see that just ahead of you, 10 feet, that square, just like there's a 5-foot gap between you and the square I'm talking about. There does appear to be a strangeness in the floor. It seems to be some sort of concealed trapdoor. It's 10 foot wide. Or I'm sorry, it's 10 foot. Yeah, it's 10 foot wide, so it'd be this square here. Sorry, it's not pinging. The square directly. Ping, you mofo.
It pinged.
Okay, cool. That square, and then the square north of it. They appear to be connected. It's a trapdoor.
Alright, who was ahead of me? Alamar? Oh, he's busy staring at something there. Okay, to Everin then. I guess I'll turn around and kind of tap on him and nod over towards where I think the trapdoor is and walk one step close to it.
Okay. Perfect.
What is it?
When he asked that, I paused for a moment trying to think of the word.
I'll just look at it. Do I see it?
She's pointing it out to you. You can go ahead and make either a perception or investigation check, your choice with advantage.
14.
Good. So what you notice is she is pointing out this trapdoor, and you realize that basically the two sides of the panel, effectively, the two 5-foot squares, seeing that if they're stepped on either side, both will depress and fall out from underneath you, creating a 10-foot wide, 10-foot 10-foot wide and 10-foot long pit in front of the door. But what you detect as you're kind of paying attention is that there's a very narrow, very linear catwalk on top of the stone path that seems to connect kind of this square to this square. So you can walk across the catwalk to the door.
So that looks like a safe path, then, is what you're saying?
Correct. If someone's made aware of the path, they can kind of manipulate or kind of move over it instead of stepping on a place where pressure would cause the floor to drop.
So I'll pull out a piece of chalk and sort of mark along this floor.
Okay. Start drawing out the outline kind of as best you can of the catwalk. Perfect. All right. You also
Make sure you follow this path, and I'll go back.
You're also kind of paying attention to it as well. You would note too that you might be able to jam the lid so that it remains closed like this, but you think that might be something that might be outside of your skill. As a member of the Watch, you've seen all sorts of burglars and such use all sorts of different types of tools, and you're pretty certain that if you were skilled in those tools, wink wink, these tools, wink wink, that you might be able to jam this this door.
Yeah, I'm not, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll just warn them to follow the path, and I'll see where they want to go. Actually, that's our only way, right?
Appears to be, yeah.
Oh, and then I'll investigate the door.
Door seems fine.
And I'll open it.
All right. 1 second.
Fireball.
That's what we needed.
Got to do that double trap.
Oh, wait,
The trap was just to get your mind off the fireball on the door.
safe.
I did ask to investigate it.
So you open up the door, and inside it's a circular area, cobbled with cracked granite, upon which sprawl the bodies of what appear to be 4 goblins, apparently slain in combat. One corpse stands with its back against the western wall, the spear that killed it still skewering it and holding it upright. 3 wooden doors lead from this area. A hollow tower of loose masonry reaches 30 feet into the air, but the intervening floors and stairs are gone, except for a couple of crumbled ledges. You can kind of see in the stone walls, like where the balustrades and also where the foundations of the stairs would have been. You assume they were made out of wood and have rotted away, but you can see the holes where those posts would have been planted. Okay, before we get to you some more, we're going to go ahead and cut back to Chad because he got left behind. When you have made your way down, you've seen Everin draw a chalk line, or more of a square, rectangle rather, on the floor, moved across it specifically, and entered into the tower. It looks like Fenok and Alamar are kind of watching this rubble pile, and Vilm is kind of just standing in the middle. What would you like to do?
I'm going to very carefully follow the same path that, I'm sorry, did you say that was Everin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to very carefully follow his same path while sort of looking around and just trying to, like, drink in the details of the place.
Okay.
Trying to get a sense of what it is, but I also want to get into that next room and check that one out. Because this one seems pretty, like, just like a basic entryway.
Certainly. Yeah, you feel like you could easily move past Everin into the tower chamber. Yep.
Like passes. I'm gonna, proud of myself, say floor door.
Floor door.
That's,
One does not simply.
yeah.
All right, guys.
Gonna turn that into flow door later.
Anywho. Okay, you go into the chamber. Like I stated to him, there are 4 dead goblins, one of them skewered and a spear on the back wall. Looks like there's some markings on that wall as well. And there is another door, another 2 doors rather, on the western wall.
And you said those markings. Is that language?
If that's what you want to investigate, you gotta move yourself just kind of like right over here, and I'll get to you in a second.
I'm sorry. Did you say right over here?
Yeah, the wall opposite of where you're at. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, he walks in, looks around, surveys the carnage, and then
That's when the fireball
goes
goes
at
off.
the markings on the wall, and he just slowly walks that way.
Okay. Thanok and Alamar, it seems like whatever creature is in the rubble pile is proper scared and is not coming out.
Okay, then I would look over at Willem and what was your name again? Oh, Alamar. I would say, all right, go in the door and I'll follow. That way I'll kind of keep an eye on this thing so it doesn't try to grab us when we're running away. All right.
As you
guys,
wish.
All right, you guys go first and then I'll follow.
Okay.
Almar just walks off like with a little skip in his step. Like the thing with him is always seems like he's always about ready to go into a dance, but he doesn't. Just walking but dancing at the same time.
You Kevin Bacon?
Wait. Vilm, do me a favor and make a insight check. Okay.
7.
Yeah, that's really bad. Matt, I'm going to ask you. Were you paying attention to what was going on over there, or would he have been focused mainly on the hole?
Can you repeat that? You broke up.
Sorry, were you paying attention to what was going on with the others, or were you focused mainly on the hole with the eyes?
I was mainly focusing with the hole until he said to go ahead and meet up with the rest of the group.
Okay.
And also about the Kevin Bacon comment, I like to think I'm better looking than him with that charisma score of mine.
Make a perception check real quick for me.
Okay. Let's see, perception. 14?
Really good. So you notice that there's a strange chalk line drawn on the ground as you start to kind of almost skip over to the area, not really having paid attention to the whole trapdoor scenario. You do see that there's this chalk line, and you kind of look at it, with confusion, and kind of look to Vilm with like a questioning look.
I speak to her in Elvish. He's like, so do I just follow this line?
I'll nod in agreement. And I'll point.
All right.
Floor door.
Floor door.
It's like, I like it. And then I just follow the line and meet with the rest of the group.
Once inside, there does appear to be 4 goblin bodies, one of them skewered on a spear on the back wall. There's etchings on the back wall that appear to be kind of being investigated by Felix. And it does look like there are 2 doors besides the one that you entered in, both on the western wall. Any point of interest for you? Alamar?
Sorry, my headphones died on me.
That's okay. I'll get back to you in a second then. Vilm, the Goliath requested that you go first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll head on.
Okay. And then 4 goblins, etchings on the wall, doors, anything that you want to declare as point of interest.
I'll have a look at the goblins. Or the one to the south anyway.
Okay. And last but not least, Goliath, you make your way across.
Yep. I'd pop out here.
Any particular interests for you once you get into the chamber?
I would look for rat holes because I'd be so focused on those damn rat holes.
Okay. You focus and try and look for rat holes. There don't appear to be any, but make me a perception check.
Right, I didn't find any rat holes. That's a good thing. I got a 12.
Definitely no rat holes. Alright. Vilm, as you investigate the bodies, you notice that the 4 dead goblins have been down here for a while. It does look like there have been bite marks left on them, presumably from rats. Chunks of them have been taken away. It looks like the bodies have also been looted. It does look like they had spots on their belts for coin purses and such that you'd expect on typical goblins. But it looks like those items have been removed from them. It does also look like the creatures were felled by a longsword, primarily, from what you can tell. Make a medicine check. Please.
19.
Really good. You would note that the creatures have been dead for about a month, and you presume they were killed by a medium-sized creature with a longsword. And you assume, based on the surety of their cut, the swords were either just very well crafted or magical. Alright. Chad, you investigate over the back wall. You also investigate the dead goblin over there with a spear in it. You notice that there are draconic runes on the wall behind that dead creature, kind of all along that western wall. And they're very large draconic runes, but they're kind of worn with time. But do you speak Draconic?
I do.
The word that you are reading says Asher Dowlon.
He says it out loud in common, and then he stops for a second because it doesn't. It's a language that he understands, like reading the letters. He just casually, he just reads it. But then he stops and thinks because as he says it, it feels very unfamiliar to him.
Okay.
He's not sure if he's ever been able to speak this language before.
Interesting. He didn't know he knew it. Gotcha. All right. And then we'll go ahead and cycle back around. Kai, what is Everin doing once everyone's kind of come into the room?
If they're already checking the bodies, I'll just sort of check the floor and see, if there was a battle here, where did the winners go afterwards? They go to the top door or the bottom door?
Survival.
18.
Nice.
You're pretty sure they went to the door on the northern side.
And anything at all to the south, or is it
It does
Fair.
look like there was people present there, but they didn't enter it.
And how old would I know how old these tracks look?
These tracks appear to be in line with the human track you saw up on the ledge. A month or so.
Oh, like a month? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you determine? Which door should we go to first?
If we want to follow the humans, we should go north. Or right. Not sure if I know where north is down here.
That would be up here.
Are there more markings on the doors?
No.
All right, let's go to the door. I'll volunteer to open the door unless somebody else really wants to.
Well, I'll step aside if you want to.
Sure, I love opening.
Yeah, Felix says, by all means, big man, and he steps back and readies his Eldritch Blast again.
I'll just hang in the back.
Okay.
All right, then I would open the door.
All right. When you open up the door, hold on a second here. When you open up the door, you see a long hall in front of you, and it appears to extend pretty well past, pretty far out. It looks like there are doors on the sides of this hall, one on the left and one on the right, and a door on the far end of the hall.
Aha. Okay. What I would do is I would enter in, and I'd wait right about here for the rest of the people to start pouring out of the door.
Okay.
I'll come in after.
Okay. Now again, there, as mentioned, there are a total of 3 doors. There's one on the left, one on the right, and one straight ahead.
Before Vilm
Should we-
leaves,
I'd like to go this one.
You're going to the one on the left, so the southern door. Okay. And Alamar, watching him kind of.
What was Willem saying?
Oh.
I heard her saying something back there.
before she leaves the room, can she listen to this door to make sure there's nothing behind it?
Make a perception check.
14?
Bear with me here. No sounds. Still as the grave. And then you hear kind of just a scurrying sound. Just very narrowly, for just a moment, you hear a scurrying sound.
Alright, think if there's more rats, I'm gonna catch up to everybody else.
Yep.
Alright, I'm about to open this door. I'm gonna go listen to the door.
Okay. You're moving to your door. Alamar, you see the Goliath kind of move over to the door on the left side. You're staying back, and
I'm actually moving up to this door
Okay.
and just try to listen in through it. See maybe if all I hear is more rats, or maybe there's somebody else
Gotcha.
behind it.
Okay. So the 2 doors are covered. Is anybody moving to the far door and checking it as well?
No, I'll just stay back and watch them.
Staying
They
back.
seem
Yeah.
larger.
Yeah, we should just clear the rooms
Okay.
one at a time.
So, for you, Alamar, you hear nothing. Sound of emptiness and just nothing. For you,
Good. Nobody will sneak up behind us when we go through the other door.
for you, Kevin, Zenok hears the sound of what you presume is water, kind of just a rustling sound of water. Sounds like, almost sounds like a cat fountain.
Ooh, cat fountain. I would look over at Alamar and say, I hear water. And then what would you say?
Well, maybe there's a river on the other side.
That would be strange.
We are in a cave. We are in a cave system. Maybe they eroded.
Could be. Then I open the door.
You grab the hold of the door handle and try and open it, and the door is locked.
The door is locked. Alright. I could bust
I don't
it
have a
down
way
if you
of-
want.
By all means.
Okay. Looking at the door, you can see that it's very solid. Looks like it's reinforced with wrought iron. And there's the wood, despite probably having been, aged for some time and being down here for a long time, looks very sturdy. If you'd like, you can make a strength athletics check to try and force your way through the door.
Yeah, I guess so. My party seemed to be into it, so
Okay.
I'm taking that as what do they call it? Consenting. If nobody did say anything else, so boom, breaking the son of a bitch down. 23 athletics check.
You slam really hard into the door. It does not fly open as anticipated at your sheer force. You hit the door, and there's a very loud ka-tong! And you guys in the back can hear it echoing in the tower chamber behind you. And you presume that sound kind of echoed further into the Citadel as he slams into the door. Alamar, you can make a perception check.
I think that was a bad idea, guys. But it's too late now.
12.
Okay. Nothing changes from what's been discussed.
All right, let's open your door, Alamar.
Would now be a bad time for me to take an action?
What's your action?
Well, okay, so Felix is looking around this narrow hallway with all these people packed into it, and these doors that are presumably locked. He's starting to feel kind of claustrophobic. And so almost by reflex, he would cast a spell.
What are you casting?
Armor of Agathis.
Okay.
fair enough.
So Film watches as the air around Felix starts to kind of just become frigid, and you can see kind of mist rising up from Felix's body, and then you see like rime just kind of cover all of his gear and armor, and he becomes encased in this kind of layer of frost.
Thinking she missed something, she's gonna draw her bow.
Okay. And then what happens?
All right, I'd say, all right, Alamar, let me open this door. That door's not budging. So
Be my guest.
all right.
Door to the north is unlocked. You
Ooh, my
you,
favorite type of door.
you open it, and inside you see an empty chamber.
Oh,
Aw. No prizes for today.
there's not like a big stack of like great weapons.
The
like,
ruined
all
chamber
ready.
stands empty of all but a litter of rocky debris.
All right, that's very sad. I was like, it looks empty to me, guys. You want to look at it? Maybe
We'll
see
just
some
check
light
the
on
next
it.
door.
I'm trying to open the door. My stuff's lagging. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let the Hex Chad check it out. Chad Hex.
Wow, that is
The
really...
Chadlock.
Chadlock. I like that even better.
Come on, lag. Stop it.
That was from Foreigner 4, by the way. If anybody doesn't know what that is.
Oh no, I got it. But it just reminded me of when I was playing as Vectra, and you were always like, "You love me. She gave me a ring. She wants to marry me."
Yeah, true.
Alright,
You
that door
did,
should be
though.
open.
You did give me a ring, though, in that
It was
game.
for your own good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next door.
Okay, so we have an empty room. Nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to open the next door, too. I'm the door opener.
Does it look like there's any tracks in here that goes into a wall or anything? Or is it just pretty much empty?
If you're following the tracks, you do notice that this door has been opened before. It does look like people did enter into this place, and they were the humans. Looks like they left it very quickly and moved towards the door on the western wall.
Okay.
Which I'm about to open. Drum roll, please. Awesome. All right, so we're going to
That's my Foley work for the day.
Alright, you open up the door. And my stuff will continue to lag, and I will fight it.
All right, it's like the, what do they call that? It's like the anticipation is killing us.
It's annoying me. My computer's never this laggy. It's really aggravating.
Oh, mine's like that all the time.
It's usually not this bad. Oh, I'm gonna fight you. Bear with me.
So who do you think the worst superhero is? I'm thinking the American hero was like a weird superhero.
Wait,
Oh, the old show.
Yeah.
did it open?
Yeah. Yes, it opened. All
Okay.
right, I can see it. I'm gonna.
So-
follow there if I can.
What you see inside is a crudely executed grouping of kind of glyphs and such. And my computer's really I'm gonna fight it.
Don't fight it.
Crudely executed symbols and glyphs, scribed in bright green dye, decorate this large and irregular shaped crumbling chamber. A large pit in the center shows evidence of recent fire. A metallic cage in the middle of the southern wall contains a gaping hole and stands empty. A small wooden bench draped with green cloth is next to the cage, and several small objects rest on it. A bedroll lies near the wooden bench, and it appears to have been recently evacuated. behind the wooden bench, kind of hiding behind it, you sense that there's a form behind it. It does appear to be armed, and it looks like it's holding a shield out, kind of defensively. The shield appears to be made out of white dragon scale.
Interesting. All right, guys.
You hear as you open up the door.
Be like, drop your weapons and surrender.
What he just say, was that all gibberish or was it draconic?
It was gibberish. Kind of like
Mine was gibberish too.
the cowardly mutterings of a kobold. But in reply to you, drop weapons, he says, "You drop your weapons first!"
I don't know if you can count, my friend, but we do outnumber you. So, it might be your best interest to drop your weapons. I don't really want to kill you if I don't have to.
He kind of looks up from around the bench at you guys. Seems he's holding a very strange-looking kind of bladed weapon that has protrusions. It honestly looks like someone just kind of cast metal into sand and then pulled out the bladed thing and sharpened it. His shield appears to be a white dragon scale. And he kind of looks around the bench at you guys and then kind of tucks back underneath and says, "Nah! You drop it! You drop your weapons!"
I'd say, okay, what I would do is I'd look at him and I'd be like, I'd hook my axe back on my belt, but I'm still holding my shield. I'd be like, all right, I put my axe down, you put your weapon down.
He kind of looks out at you as you kind of move into the room. "What about them?" And points his weird-looking weapon out. "Tell them put their weapons up too."
I just look over at him.
I never drew my weapon.
All right.
Felix takes a moment to kind of regard the situation and then looks at the kobold and says in Draconic, "You should probably do what the big man says."
"No, you do what the big man says," he says in Draconic.
Felix holds up his empty hand like he's got his spear slung across his back. He hasn't drawn a weapon. And he just looks at the kobold and he was like, "What are you talking about?" in Draconic.
"You're the one that drops his weapon." Kind of looking at the Goliath again.
It's like I look at the others. Is like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I want to look at you and kind of like say, cover the door fast, and then I would like charge that little guy, and I'm gonna try to like shield bash him and then grapple the shit out of him. So I basically just want you to cover like the open door.
Make
Right
Okay.
that way.
Felix
Make
moves to this corner so he can kind of.
hold on.
So I'm going to put myself right there, but basically he's hiding around the corner but covering this hallway.
Gotcha. Make real quick. Before you guys move up to him, because you're trying to make a positioning. Chad, I want a stealth check.
Stealth walk.
And then I would
Probably
like
the best roll I've made all night.
an athletics check from you.
Right. Yes! Thanos got a 26 athletics check.
Hindari kind of moves, and it kind of causes Meepo to kind of, or the creature, sorry, to look over
Name.
at Felix and kind of focus. And then as he's doing that, the Goliath kind of trundles in and grabs the weapon and like grabs it with his hand and kind of casts it to the side away from the kobold's hand. In fright, he kind of raises his shield up to try and kind of get it in between you and him, but it doesn't do much as you, at that point, kind of wrap your shield around his back and pull him in tight, kind of grappling him in like a bear hug. And you now have the kobold completely at your disposal. Like he is grappled.
Ah!
A coffin! off of them! Let me go! You let me go! You let me go!
I've got you, little one. I put my hand over his mouth, try to hold him shut, so he doesn't make so much noise.
Kobolds kind of have like
Now,
a draconic maw, so you don't have to hold your mouth over it. You just hold your hand so that it closes the maw, like yeah. And then you're
It's like, I walk up. It's like, now, little one. There's no need to be
he is
persnickety.
he is a wriggly little guy. He's just trying to get out of your grasp. It's not working, but he's giving it. He's got a lot of energy.
I think you should tie him up, friend. I say to Alamar.
I've
got him
that
held.
makes sense. I take out some rope from my kit.
Okay. Go ahead and just make me. If you have, do you have vehicles water?
I have land vehicles. That's it.
No, it wouldn't be so much tying the blind. Go ahead and make me a dexterity check. Just
Okay.
dexterity.
Oof, 9.
All right.
Does he get advantage because it's like I'm holding him?
He's tying the rope. It's not really.
Okay.
Yeah. He ties him up pretty well, you suppose. Looks like he's all caught up. He doesn't have like a muzzle or anything, but he does tie a rope around his mouth if you want him to remain silent.
We could talk to him if he agrees not to yell.
The room
I
we
could try
went in
talking to
before
him.
would be good for interrogation.
Oh, that blank room, that empty room. All right, let's take him
Well,
over there. Just
I'll
talk to him.
while we're doing that, I'll like try to persuade him into like, now, if you're willing to calm down and just talk to us, I'll make sure and tell my friends here not to put a muzzle on you. Does that sound agreeable to you?
Make an insight check.
Oh my God, 3.
Yeah, he seems like he's cool with that.
Basically, you can't read a kobold at all.
Are you?
Well, it's the scales that get in the way.
Yeah, it does. You can't really tell.
Okay, real quick, Goliath. Once he's tied up, you're now taking him over to that area, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, right? You
Okay.
guys coming?
Make an athletics check at disadvantage.
I don't like that. What did I do? Oh, I got a 21 at disadvantage. Holy crap, guys.
Nice.
Damn. So the kobold wriggles himself out of the rope, which you were kind of using, thinking it was secure, and he kind of gets out of your grasp, but doesn't make it more than like a couple of inches before you just big hand grab him on the shoulder and lift him back up into the bear hug. The rope kind of dangling off of him and falling away, and he kind of opens his mouth, and then you kind of clasp his mouth shut again.
All right, get in here quick, guys. He's getting out of his ropes.
Oh dear.
He's out of his ropes completely.
I really should have paid attention to that class and learned how to tie ropes.
So what? We're backing out into the hallway with our little kobold. Oh, we're taking
Yeah.
him into this tiny little room. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys are all supposed to get in here. We're gonna shut the door so it's not so noisy, and then we're gonna talk to him.
Okay.
Let me try tying those ropes again.
Hopefully there are no floor doors in this room.
Well, if you kind
I'm
of
gonna help you with that.
at this point, since you have him in this room, if you cast him onto the floor and stay at the door, you don't have to tie him up because
Yeah, he
Okay.
won't get out.
he's effectively in a jail cell.
All right
Get
then.
in here, guys.
Want to shut this door just in case he wants.
Yeah,
to
shut that door too. That way. they
Did we
won't hear
post
it.
somebody at each door?
Yeah. So once you kind of get him into the room, he kind of backs into a corner if he's allowed to kind of move freely, and kind of looks at you all while like Riley, kind of like just scared.
All right.
Felix
Getting the-
glances at the Goliath and he says, "How do we want to do this?"
Well, I'll be bad cop.
Okay. Felix takes a deep breath and like just tries really, really hard to just like think and remember anything at all about what it means to be a nice, like compassionate person. And he goes, "Okay." And he walks over to the kobold and he slowly like crouches down so he's more eye level with the kobold. And he says, in Draconic, very softly, "Look, I'm sorry about what my friend just did. Why don't you tell me your name?"
He's just looking at you all very just, cautiously, and it doesn't look like he's really much keen on entertaining that bit of conversation. But do make me a persuasion check. See how nicely you did say it.
Eh.
He just seems put off. He seems like he's very scared. He also looks like, as you kind of pay attention to him, looks like he's eyeing your spear to see if he can't grab it from you.
I'm gonna go persuade him with my fists a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, but
I'm not gonna do anything to
after the
injure him.
persuasion fails, he says, "Look, if you don't cooperate with us, my friend here is gonna hurt you. I don't want that to happen." And he says all this in Draconic.
He doesn't seem to respond too much to that. However, if you want to make this would be for Kevin. If you want to make an intimidation check, you can, since he's just kind of vocalizing the intimidation, and Kevin, you'll be basically engaging.
This is great. This is like a straight roll, guys. 14, not bad.
He kind of starts shaking a bit more, kind of looking at you.
All right. I don't want to hurt him, but I'm going to smack him around a little bit. Like, I'm not going to hit him hard to hurt any of his internal organs or break any of his bones.
Well,
It's like a cat playing with its food.
Before you
I want to rough him up a bit.
Before you get to hitting him, you're kind of like walking at him kind of intimidatingly. And he kind of, what do you want? What do you want? What are you doing here? Are you like them? Are you like them?
No,
As he starts like sputtering and saying things, Felix holds up a hand to like kind of stop the big man.
All right, I'll back up a
We
little
just
bit
have a
then.
few questions for you.
Are you like them? Are you like the ones that came before Calcrix was taken?
Them before, like Belek?
Like you.
Who is Calcrix?
Calcrix is our dragon, taken by the goblins a couple days ago.
Tell me, does Ashardalon mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's the great red dragon of the sky. What do you know about Ashardalon?
Felix kind of hooks a finger back in the direction of the other room and he says, "It was written on the wall out there."
That's why we're here. This is a holy place. Israel says so.
And who is Eustriel?
Our shaman, our leader. She is the one who brought Calcrix to this place from our old home. Where we resided before, there were other creatures, and this place was clean of others until that man came some years ago with those goblins. He brought them here. They've been plaguing us ever since.
You said there were others that came before us. Can you tell me about them?
We did not talk to them very much. They said that if we do not fight them, they will not fight us. We told them where to find the one that they sought, this Belek you mentioned.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, many moons. So many days.
Now, was he saying all that in common, or were we having this conversation in Draconic?
Draconic.
Okay. Felix looks thoughtful for a moment, and he says, "Give me a moment to explain all this to my friends."
Yeah.
And then he stands up and he goes and he shares all this information with them, how they fled from their old home and they came here because they thought it was a holy place. Belek came with his goblins and he took their dragon. And that there were other people like us who came before, presumably this other party we were searching for, but he has not seen them in quote-unquote many moons, which I'm assuming is many months.
You think it might mean that, or it might mean like moons in the sky? You're not sure. To you, if someone uses that turn of phrase, they mean months.
It's probably 1
Yeah.
month. That's because that's how old the tracks are.
Felix takes a moment and he like glances over his shoulder back at Meepo and he says,
Well, the creature.
"Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Anything else you'd like me to ask him?"
Alamar, make a perception check.
Okay. Let's see. 15.
Chad, did you have a dagger on your character sheet?
I did not.
Okay. No dagger.
I
Alright.
just had the spear.
Just a spear. Alright.
I had a very big dagger.
Fair enough. You do notice that the kobold appears to be holding something. You're not sure what it is. Upon closer inspection, you realize it's the coin purse of this Felix fellow.
That sneaky fucker.
You said
Don't tell him.
you said you turned away from him. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm taking something.
Fair enough. Are you gonna tell me?
It's like, do I know it's his?
Wink at the
Yeah, you're pretty sure.
It's like, I go to him, it's like, question, do you seem to be missing anything?
At that, you hear a loud click-clunk sound, and just at the feet, like Alamar, you watch as the kobold, when they're not paying attention to him, just chucks the coin purse to the feet of Felix, trying to like avoid suspicion. It almost looks like he turns his head to the side and starts like kobold whistling.
Felix glances down at the coin purse and then looks up at looks at the kobold and kind of glares at him.
Oh,
And
he's
then I wanna-
he,
I wanna use-
side heading, just whistling.
As I glare at him, I want to use minor illusion to make my eyes look draconic and angry.
He keeps turning away, like he's just not looking.
I
pick up
walk
my
over.
coin purse and put it back, and I step
look-
further away from him. And then I look at the big man and I say, "He's all yours."
And it's like, before all that, though, it's just like, I'll walk over to him and sit down on one knee. It's like, now, I believe you owe my friend an apology.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop trying.
Now.
Stop trying to get me in trouble.
Like, I'm gonna use persuasion to, like, give him a look, is like, come on, you know what you did.
He kind of goes.
Oh, never mind, 11.
I didn't do nothing. You're making stuff
Well-
up. Why are you trying to get Meepo in trouble?
Is that your name, little thing?
Yeah. As you walk in and become like a shadow over him.
I am going to grab him by the neck and hold him up, and so he can see me, and try not to. I'm not want to choke him too much, just a little bit. You're gonna take us to find Bellic and his nasty little goblins, and then we're gonna carve them up. Let him slide down the wall.
No.
No, what did he do to me? Fire breath. Ah! That would suck.
Yes.
Take
Right in my
He was
face.
actually a dragon shapeshifted as a kobold the whole time.
take 2
no.
points of piercing damage.
Ow.
As you're holding on to him by the neck, he kind of reaches out towards like the your wrist and kind of like your thumb, and just bites hard enough for you to kind of let him go. When he hits the ground, I need you, Alamar, Vilm, to all make dexterity saving throws.
Ooh, not good, guys. That's not a good one.
Mm.
Dex
Not
saving
good.
throw.
But not Felix.
Ooh, I rolled a 5. That's
Ooh.
not so good.
Oh, he's avoiding you.
21.
All right, Alamar, as he tries to run past you, you very quickly reach down and kind of just like clothesline him and catch him in your arm as he tries to run past you and everyone else. He seems to bite into the Goliath and try to slip past you guys, but you kind of reach down and kind of scoop him up with your arm and kind of push him back.
Oh, I was thinking of something a little more flavorful, since
Oh, yeah.
I do have a whip. I like just like pull off my waist and just like
Whoosh.
onto his legs and just pull him up.
Okay. Well, you probably can't lift him. If I
sure.
recall
I am-
your strength score.
Yeah,
But
I just trip him.
yeah, you trip him. He's laying on the ground. His legs are kind of tied together with the whip. He kind of looks down at it very quickly and like, "Ah!"
I sit down onto him because I'm pretty sure I'm still heavy enough to where,
Sure.
like, when I sit down, he's like, now.
Make an insight check
That
though,
wasn't
real
there?
quick.
Okay.
Something you guys should probably be picking up on, and I don't think you are. Yeah, you still don't. Okay, you
Oh
sit
my
on him.
god.
He appears afraid, and he will. He's gonna try and contest you on top of him and try and get you off of him. But in the meantime, if anyone is wanting to engage with Meepo to try and kind of hold him or anything else, roll initiative.
I definitely want to do that.
I want to just scare the shit out of him. So I want to go stand in front of him and just slam the front end of my spear
Roll initiative.
stone right in front of him.
Yeah, it's initiative time.
Initiatize. Does anybody have?
God, we're about to butcher this poor little kobold.
Who's
Oh,
not gonna
man.
butcher him? We're gonna keep him alive.
No, we're just gonna slowly kill him as he struggles to escape.
Yeah, that works.
I do feel kind of bad.
Well, he won't cooperate. I mean, we're trying. I tried being the good cop. That shit didn't work.
No, we just need to tie him up so he can't escape,
Mm-hmm.
and may possibly remove some of his teeth so he can't bite me again.
Oh.
But that's kind of mean. But still, he bit me.
Okay. Sorry, my stuff is still lagging.
That's all right. All right, guys, we need to tie this guy up so he can't escape.
Well, I do have his legs tied up with the whip. That might help a bit.
Again,
Yeah.
it's not like a perfect knot or anything.
No, but still.
You're pretty sure he could like weasel his feet out of it. It was more so much that it kind of caught him and caused him to trip up.
I'm not a Belmont or anything like that.
Or Indiana Jones, yeah.
Indeed.
How amazing would that be?
I mean,
That was a
for
dog
sure.
save.
I believe the highest on the initiative total is Evan. You said you were trying to intimidate him.
Oh, me? No, I'm just gonna pull out
Oh.
my manacles and slip one on them, and I'll just look
Oh,
at
yeah,
everyone.
manacles all this whole time?
Die!
What the hell?
Okay.
Are you amateurs done? We still have someone to find.
So real quick, are you trying to apply them to him from on his back or on just to his front? Because he's currently turned over on his back, kind of looking up at his legs.
Yeah, behind him.
Okay.
While
Make it
Almar's still sitting on him.
Okay. So he's sitting on top of him, and the kobold isn't on his stomach; he's on his back. So basically,
Oh, I thought he was on.
Yeah,
because
no,
he was
no.
running and he tripped. I thought he tripped.
yeah.
forward.
And then he turned around and looked, and then Alamar kind of plopped on him. So, you can make an athletics check with advantage because you have help from Alamar, I presume, since he's on top.
Yep.
To see if you can secure those cuffs.
Is this from behind still, or would it be in front?
You're wanting to get it the way you want. So if you were just putting them on, we wouldn't have any rolls. But since you're wanting to get them
Okay.
behind it, yeah, we're gonna roll.
14.
All right. He manages to kind of maneuver and weasel. He causes you and Alamar to kind of slip to the side, and he kind of tumbles out one end. So he's no longer currently underneath Alamar, and you're kind of like leaning into Alamar, kind of cause to fall forward onto your associate. Film.
Bit of a slippery little devil, isn't he?
I'll step in and close the door.
Okay.
Um,
The second that happens, all of the fight in the kobold just kind of drains away. He just kind of stops moving, looking at the door. You can see just the crestfallen look in his eyes as the door is shut. Just initiative is no longer required. Meepo is not playing anymore.
Well, that was easy.
Really? You think that was easy? He didn't bite you, and I hold up my bloody hand. It's just like gushing blood. I gotta wrap this up.
I have some bandages.
Oh, I forgot. We're only level 1. You have like 10 hit points.
Yeah, I had 13 to begin, and now I'm down to 8. So
Oof.
I get hit a little bit at a time. You need to come with us. You need to show us where the goblin
No!
is.
And he spits your blood at you.
Great. He's really making it hard for me not to punch him.
You swing
I
at
can't
him.
hit him, but-
He kind of like it hits his like draconic hide, but you're kind of like it's like and he kind of looks at you. Real quick, Nat. I think you might already know what I'm trying to put down here, but can you make me an insight check?
No.
No, she doesn't.
Matt,
All right.
no, don't do it.
I just don't understand why you guys don't see what you're doing. But yeah, he kind of just takes the baton to the side of the head. Doesn't look like he's resisting, but it doesn't look like you're really hurting him. And he just kind of doesn't seem to care anymore.
What's your deal?
Well, I'm trained in insight. Did I sort of figure out what's
Yeah.
going on there?
Oh my god.
The Nat 20 on.
So, Kai, I'm going to ask you a question. If I took you and locked you in a room with 4 other people and basically threatened to, like harm you, would you just take it or would you try and resist?
I would give them what they wanted if it wasn't something too bad.
No, like if it's against if people just randomly came into your house and grabbed you and threw you into a spare room and were like, do what I want you to do, it wouldn't be a situation where you were like, yeah, okay.
Actually, yeah, that's if they want like money or whatever, I would give it to them. Like,
Okay.
you don't fight back in that type of situation. That's
Fair,
how you die.
if you were a feral animal, I guess I should have prefaced it that way.
Yeah.
Apologies. If you weren't a smart human being, if you were dumber,
Yeah, we have him cornered.
you basically
Can
have
I
a.
talk to him?
I
You already
mean,
did, didn't you?
he doesn't seem to be very receptive to conversation at this point.
All right.
It's
let's
useless
keep-
trying to talk to him longer. Let's move on.
Wait, you have manacles on him right now, right?
Yeah, if I had a chance to put him on. When
He
gave up.
he gave up. You can very easily get him in manacles.
Let's tie his legs up and leave him in this room for a little while we go and investigate the other room that he was in.
We'll have
Get a
to
chance
somehow
investigate.
seal that door.
Or just bring him with us. But he has to be.
How
tied.
much? He says he serves a dragon, right? And we assume that's a white dragon because he has white dragon scale stuff.
It's a good
How much
perception.
do we know about? Like, do we know that he's basically serving an evil dragon? Or
Does anybody
Well,
here
he
have
said
Arcana?
they brought their dragon here. They followed it here or whatever. Eustriel was their shaman, their leader. And that I believe he said the goblins captured Halcrix. So the goblins like whatever's going on here. He's an enemy of the goblins.
Does anybody here have training in Arcana?
I do.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, white dragons are evil.
yeah, as a player, I know that. It's just,
Yeah.
do we know? And we might as well just kill him.
If you're trained with Arcana, you would know that white dragons are evil.
Quick 5. My dog needs to have his medication right now.
Okay.
Okay. I think he might be able to help us get through this place, though. This is why I want to keep him alive.
He's not being cooperative though, and you don't know if he'll do something else to make it worse for us.
He's the first thing we found in this place that did not immediately try to take a bite out of the big man's ass.
Well, he
This
did
is true.
though.
He did.
Well, he
didn't
didn't try to do it immediately.
Yeah, you got a point there. All right.
Yep.
Who's the best with rope? Obviously, Alamar didn't do a great job because he
Nope.
escaped that rope. Who else
Yep.
is good at rope?
For just
Probably
on
the guard.
dexterity, then yeah, I'm pretty good. High, +4.
I mean, I probably would not be the best. So why don't you try tying him up this time? Because we could carry him around with us and then just take we could put a gag in his mouth and then take it out whenever we want to ask him a question. Like, hey, should we go in here? And remember, if it's a real bad place, you're gonna be dead too because you're going with us. Then you're all tied up. See, he's gonna want to avoid monsters. Unless he's crazy.
Alright. So was that just a dexterity roll, or?
Yeah, if you are trained in vehicles water, you can make a vehicles water check because that has to do with like raving wind
No.
sails and shit.
No, I'm not. I have weavers though.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trained with
Sure.
Weavers tools.
Weave him into
Yeah,
something.
I'll allow it. That's interesting.
Just 12 though.
Okay, you seem to tie him up pretty well. And there's no gagging his mouth. Again, he's got more of a snout than a mouth, like normal. So you have to tie it shut. Yeah.
Tie it shut, and so that we can like take it off when we need to ask him a question. All right, now that he's tied up and everything, let's head over. And he's in manacles too. We can head over to the other room and start investigating it. Maybe we'll find something that is real helpful in there, like great weapons that are great. great weapons. All right, so we're gonna go over there. I'll carry him with me because he's pretty light comparatively. So I'm gonna like kind of drag him along with me.
Sure.
Actually, I'll throw him over my shoulder as long as his mouth is not able to bite.
For lagging purposes, he is currently equipped by you. If it comes down to it, I'll move the token over to you, but I'm just leaving him there for now.
Cool.
That said, you go back into that main room there, and like I said, there's a ring of green markings on the ground, a broken cage, a bench with stuff on it, a bedroll, the little blue bedroll you see there.
Let's investigate this stuff, guys.
And that's where Meepo, you presume, was sleeping.
Right here?
It's a little blue, like, bedroll on the left side of the room.
Okay.
Now, you said there were glyphs around here?
Yeah, they're those rocks. It's
Oh.
like a fire pit.
Now, could I, like, roll a religion to see maybe it's from a religion of some sort or something like that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't recognize it.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems to be some sort of shamanic kind of thing. Other than that, you're not sure. Also, the things that are on the bench appear to be kind of related to the green markings on the stones. Also, appears that incense is still kind of present, and there's kind of a smell to the fire that has kind of a strange odor. That's not exactly just burnt material, like they were burning something intentionally for that scent.
Interesting.
To you, Chad, it smells like every time you cast your spells.
Interesting. This fire right here.
That big pit in the center there, yeah.
So Felix is standing there staring into it, and as he catches that odor, it starts kind of stirring up his memories. Does he hear any voices or sense anything like related to whatever this weird shit going on with him is?
There's a certain familiarity with the scent, to be sure. But the only vision that you keep on kind of recalling as you kind of stare at this is this strange kind of pulsing sensation in your chest. And you kind of like, hover your hand there. If you've had time since your resurrection, you would know that you do have a scar about where that pain sensation is kind of coming from.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely feeling that scar.
Yeah. It feels like it's burning right now. Like not like inflaming you or anything. It's just there's like a certain kind of warmth to the wound.
Felix grimaces slightly, like, ugh.
You alright there, my friend? I noticed that some of us are injured. I could probably heal some of you.
No, I'm fine. Then Felix kind of like closes his cloak a little bit.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind being healed. I got bit a couple times. My various things.
He nods to the Goliath and he says, "Help the big man."
Okay. You would know. Oh, go ahead.
I'll since I have very small pool of lay on hands, I'll just give you 2 points.
That's better than nothing. I much appreciated.
At least the wound is closed.
Yes, that is great. I'm gonna come up here and just look while you guys search the rest of this room.
You'd notice too that the runes that are kind of, or the markings that are kind of formed on the walls too, they are draconic writing, and kind of about the cage. It says in draconic, "Here there be dragons." The cage does look like it was broken. Something kind of entered into the cage. There are scales kind of present at the bottom of the cage that kind of seem to be lingering. They too are kind of a white coloration.
Do you want to ask that little guy about it? About that cage or anything? Or do you know what that is?
Felix walks over and glances into the cage and sees the scales.
Yep, they're not very
He
big.
turns and looks back at Meepo and he walks over and he says, "Those scales, is that where Calcrix was? Is that where the goblins kept him?" He reaches up and pulls the gag out of his mouth.
Maclag! 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 He starts yelling out loud.
Just stuffs it right back in.
In Draconic, it means alarm, alarm, alarm.
Oh, great. That just went down the hallway, guys. Let's check some of these doors and get the hell out of here. If we didn't see anything else in this room.
There do appear to be 3 doors that you can see. 2 to the south and 1 to the north.
Is there any value in these dragon scales?
They're really
This door here,
small.
I count 4 doors.
Oh, that's a passageway, sorry. Yeah, there are a total of 3 doors that are closed and 1 passageway, hallway
There's
that
another door
continues.
over here, too. Right next to where I am.
Yeah, I count
there's a
4
door.
doors.
That's not a door, it's a portalway. There's no door. It's just an extension
I
of the wall.
gotcha. Felix, Felix looks at the big man and he says, "I'll be right back." And then he wanders down this passageway. And he stands here, and then he comes back, and he says, "I can't see where that where that passageway leads to. We should be careful."
Alright, you want to go down that passageway or go a different way? You checked it out. Let's check the other ones out, too.
I'm refreshing my browser, bear with me.
Oh, so you can't tell what we're doing. Let's check this door next, and then we'll check the rest of them.
Okay, so Felix goes over here. He stands right about here and keeps his Eldritch Blast at the ready, and he looks at the big man and he nods, like, "Go ahead and do your thing."
Alright, do you guys want to move up a little bit? Valum and, Willem? Vilm? Vellum? Like the, it's like, used for drawings? Vellum?
Lambskin.
Yeah.
Like film with a V.
Yes. Vilm. Okay. She's German.
Okay,
Mm.
so what?
Alamar will hang back and like have his ready to draw his sword.
We're getting ready to go through this door here.
I'm not there quite yet, but it was
Yeah.
the door on the north side or the
North, it's the north one, but it's kind of on the west of the north, if that makes any sense.
There is no door on the north of the west.
What is that then? It looks like a door.
It does look like a door, but it's not. So
It's a fake door.
bear with me here. There are
Alright, we'll go down to this.
3 doors. There's 3 closed doors. There's 2 on the south side, and there's 1 in the
Yeah,
north
the north closed door.
east side.
That's
Okay.
this one, guys.
And then there's the hallway
Right
that's
here.
kind of to the left there.
So is this not one of the closed doors?
Is he pointing at the same thing you were pointing at,
Yeah.
Kevin? No, it's
Yeah.
not a door.
It looks like a door, but it's not.
I know it looks like a door.
It's a dork.
Is it supposed to be open, like an open passageway?
What, the one to the north?
The one that Kevin and the Kai were clicking on.
No, it's not a door. It's not a passageway. It's just a wall.
Okay.
But-
All right. Sorry, the map's very confusing.
Sure. A real quick note is that the Roll20 modules that you get, like Sunless Citadel and the like, sometimes the mapping is weird, and so I have to tell you that what you can see on the map isn't exactly what you can see in the game. So just
Right.
keep that in mind.
That's good. Is everybody? Did you get reloaded now?
Yeah, but it's still pretty much laggy. Here.
Bill is now extremely confused, learning that that is a door or what they think is a door. So now her idea of what doors are completely different.
And she thinks that doors are come in floor variants, and she doesn't know how to door anymore.
How do you door?
How to door? Can you see past the door on the north east? Can you see through that?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's already opened. Because I can't switch on my dynamic lighting. This is really aggravating how laggy this is. I don't like it. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. This is almost unplayable.
Alright, maybe just for fun, while we're waiting, we should attack each other.
No, don't do that.
Um,
Okay.
Reach the 20.
The door to the northeast is kind of ajar. It's slightly open. If you want to kind of press on through it, you can.
Let's go through that then, guys. Since it's open,
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I'll go first. Bloop. You guys are gonna follow me, right?
And you still have Meepo,
Yep.
right?
I still have Meepo, yeah.
Okay, so you have a choice. You can either put your shield away and hold him in your shield arm, or you can keep your shield up and put your weapon away.
Yeah, I'll hang him on my back. Like, put him over my shoulder. Like, the same shoulder that has my shield on it. So basically, and still have my.
So you're not
axe
holding.
in my hand.
You're not holding him.
No, I'm just keeping him on my shoulder.
Okay.
So he doesn't fall off.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Son of a bitch.
Alamar, since you were kind of positioned close behind him, I'll allow you to do the same.
Okay.
This guy, he's trying to make it, so I kill him. Aha! I rolled a 20 on my saving throw. My dex save.
I fail.
One has
Okay.
Butterfingers.
Um,
I dropped him on you.
I'm really trying to roll here, and it's making me very, very aggravated how slow this is going. 1 second.
Aha! It came out
Okay.
as.
You catch him, but he slips free of the ropes again, and is trying to run off. You catch him by the manacles and kind of pull him back.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, it's right. How big's his tail?
Yeah, it doesn't have much of one.
Oh, he wouldn't have had much of one. I was thinking about taking it. But, alright. Guys, you better stop me before I do something that's, like, gonna mangle this guy.
Maybe
do
it's
you
like
want
a
me to knock him
gecko.
out? I can knock him out for a while. Yeah,
Matt, as the player, would agree, but
I'm gonna knock him out for a while. Basically, just, punch him until he falls asleep.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Nap time. Nap time for you. Alright, attack roll. I did put unarmed strike in here because I figured I'd be knocking some heads together.
Sure.
Oh my god.
oh
I miss him the first time because I roll a nat 1,
Okay.
which is not gonna hit.
Roll a 20-sided dice for me.
Ooh, I'm gonna
It's,
punch myself.
They're gonna hit Alamar.
I'm gonna punch myself. This is gonna be great.
Oh boy.
Well, you're both fighting for him, right?
I roll a 10.
Okay.
So it's kind of average.
Yeah, he utilizes your swing to kind of duck away and kind of get out of your grasp because you still have your axe in one hand and are trying to wrangle him with the other. You kind of try and let go of him for just a second to kind of clock him, and he uses that moment to kind of duck away and bolt again. You do not get a check to try and grapple him,
Can I
but
thorn whip him?
you can.
I might kill him, but I'm tired of him running away.
What are you gonna do to him? Thorn whip him. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that hits. It does damage. You pull him closer to you, and he's again gonna continue his movement. and try to escape. I would presume that everyone besides the two that have kind of acted in regards to this could go ahead and take either an opportunity action, which would be an attack. Grapple is fine if you want to attempt it, or just a regular attack with the weapon you have equipped, so long as it's a melee weapon. Otherwise, he's going to bolt.
Ooh, a net. Nice.
Ooh, nice.
That
Did
basically make like
Stop, hold on. You didn't have a net drawn.
Oh, well, we didn't have time to draw anything?
No. Sorry, I didn't emphasize that part. With whatever weapon you have drawn. Apologies. But damn, holy crap, Mr. Police Officer here, detain everyone.
we are wasting so much fucking time. Goddamn kobolds.
Yeah.
It's almost like a game. Try to catch the kobold.
Do you want to take an attack with like a weapon? You didn't have a weapon drawn.
No, I didn't have a weapon now. I guess.
Clock him, or grapple him.
Yeah, well, my grapple's not very good, but I'll try.
Okay.
I'll punch the shit out of him.
And once it lets me roll,
Yeah, it's really lagging.
yeah, you get a hold of him. You got him. Ah! Roll initiative.
Who's the most evil one of us?
Honestly, it's probably me.
Ooh, I'm going last.
11. Man, this thing is lagging pretty hard.
Yeah, it's normally not this bad. Alright, so give me another athletics check as I try and wrangle free again. Whoop! Alamar, if you had a weapon drawn, you could take an opportunity attack.
I didn't, but I have my whip at the ready, I guess. Like, I can easily grab it.
Well, again, no. That was more for flavor at that point. Whips typically aren't really like a grappling weapon.
Right.
If you want to take an attack with the whip, you can.
Yeah, I'll do that. Does a 17 hit?
17 hits damage.
8 points, wow.
Okay. Let's see. Probably right about there. You guys watch as the paladin of the god of joy snaps the whip out behind the creature as it runs, and wraps it around the creature's neck, and with a loud, audible just pop, you hear it snap its own neck
Oh, how dark!
against the force of the whip.
I think Alamar just has like this look of horror. He's like, I didn't mean that to happen. I was just meant to stop him.
It crumples into the fire pit, ash kind of blowing out to the sides, and you notice that there's bones and the like kind of in there as well.
So Felix walks over and kneels beside the now dead kobold. Is he? Are his eyes still open?
Oh yeah, wide open.
He reaches down and he closes his eyes. Does he hear anything from the voices that have been speaking to him?
No, but he definitely hears the sound of foot on stone coming from the hallway that he was running towards.
He stands up and he says, "Get ready," and he readies an action to cast Eldritch Blast at the first thing he sees.
I draw my rapier.
Maybe we should retreat into this corridor and make them come get us.
In Draconic,
Too late.
you hear on that initiative, we're going to move to the initiative cycle still, you hear in Draconic. Meepo, what's going on? Coming from that hallway.
Nothing to see here. Everything's okay.
Make a deception check.
I wouldn't say that actually.
Too
but
late.
I can't even.
Make a
can't even
deception check.
Deception check. Oh gosh, guys, this isn't gonna make anything any worse. I don't think.
Oh.
9 on my deception check.
That's not Meepo! Prepare to die! Everett.
All right.
I was reluctant to kill Meepo, because I know him from Dodo.
I feel so bad about that. I did not expect it to do that much damage.
Oh, the joy. It's rescinding. If I could move any of these tokens, it would be a fucking great time. Oh man, this is
Fuck it, kill all the kobolds, get all the experience.
this is really unplayable, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time.
Is there anything you can do, like restart it or anything? You tried that, right?
I did, yeah.
If you want to take a minute and reset your router, that's okay.
That's not the problem. Everyone else is lagging too.
I'm not lagging at all.
It doesn't make any sense.
Let's see if I'm lagging. I'm gonna use my axe. Yeah, I'm not really lagging.
Nope.
Yeah, let me
Axe
check.
just kicked some butt.
Yeah, it's lagging for me.
All right. 12 damage. Oh, that was max. That wasn't max. Yeah, it was almost max. 13 would have been max.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
You don't usually have this problem.
No!
You know, that's okay, John. It happens to everybody.
I hate you right now.
I remember I used to play, what game was that? The one, oh boy. I used to play it back when it was Diablo. Back when it was brand new, like, first came out, and that, you'd get on with people and it'd be like total lagging. It was the worst.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep, that was back
Oh,
in
I'm
the day.
gonna fucking cry. This is so bad.
I wonder what the people on Twitch would do if you started crying. I
I'd
don't know if
probably
it'd go
laugh.
up or down. Like, it make it better. Like, more people.
They'd probably give him a few bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, this is really bad. Well, I finally got the kobolds to move. Not all of them though. Okay, so Everin, if you're looking down the passageway and readying to cast Eldritch Bolt, you might be able to see at the end of your. Do you have dark vision?
I
Yeah.
do not.
You.
Yeah,
But
Everin.
from where I'm standing, I can't. Like, I can see to
Okay.
right about here.
Yep. So you don't see anything. You've readied your action. Alamar.
I think you got me confused with Felix.
That's right. You're both, yeah, kind of grungy looking dudes. So what were you doing on your initiative?
I'll just ready an action, so that's fine.
What's your ready action?
To shoot my crossbow.
If something comes around the corner. Okay. Alamar.
I'll shake off the surprise and just like hang out at this corner, hitch my whip back up onto my waist belt and draw my rapier.
And then Felix. That's when you're ready. And then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is-
already.
Can I move? Like, kind of adjust my position?
Yeah.
I want to move back here in this corner with the big man.
Okay.
And I say, you better get up there. And then I ready my action to cast Eldritch Blast at the first enemy I see.
Okay. Oh my god, please.
Let's move here instead.
This is
Gives me a bit better of an arc.
such a dramatic bot and I can't move my damn kobolds. I'm gonna try and refresh, or actually I'm gonna close out the browser and try again, yeah. Let's do that. Oh my goodness. Thanks for people who are watching at home. If anybody's still in there. Alright, here we go.
Sorry.
And you know if you kill one meepo, it doesn't, I mean, it kills all of them.
Like in every game.
It just kills all 4 of them.
Yeah, all the meepos. Do you lose your like paladin abilities now that you've gone evil?
No.
I'm just kidding. That's, you
It said
accidentally
non-lethal.
killed.
Hmm.
Was it non-lethal?
It wasn't non-lethal, but there's nothing in there saying that he can't kill, as
Yeah.
long as it's not during a celebration or something like that.
Yeah, it was an evil creature anyways.
Yeah, they're not really humans. They're just kobolds.
Oh, well, that just, ooh, that is just,
That's racist.
that's a
Yep.
slippery slope, my friend.
Big time. All the monsters. Everybody's racist against all the monsters in D&D. Like nobody's like, let's. Everybody's like, let's kill those beholders.
Well, beholders are kind of dicks, to be honest.
Sort of mind flayers.
Okay, so on Vil, I'm sorry, your initiative. What are you doing?
He went already, didn't he?
Yeah, I went.
Sorry, what'd you say you did?
Hold an action to hit with my bow when I see something.
Okay, and then Thanok.
Anok. I will go down here and wait for them with my axe and shield. So I'm just gonna wait. I'll like if somebody, I'll like hold an action to attack somebody that appears there.
You hear Draconic being spoken. Which the Draconic speakers realize they're many of them call Eustrail. There are many of them call Eustrail. Which, if you recall. It does sound like they're moving down the hallway, but it sounds like they're doing so cautiously. And you're pretty sure, Alamar, based on just sounds, there's probably close to about a half dozen, maybe a dozen of them coming around the way.
Mm.
Everin.
I like signal like with my hands, is like flashing the numbers, this is like how many I could figure out.
Okay.
Can I tell how close they are?
Make a perception check. Just around the corner, it feels like. The echoing seems to be kind of throwing it off, but you're pretty sure that...
In that case, I'll stay put and I'll just repeat my turn.
Okay. Alamar?
Can I like do it like a sneaky like look over the wall and
You know, you can move, duck out, and kind of look down there and see what they're doing, and then snap back, yeah.
yeah, I'll try to see what I can see.
Okay. Yeah, move your token so that you're looking down the hole.
Like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we gotta move up to those sides.
Well, it doesn't matter because I see shit. I have a nat 1.
Ooh.
Well, do you see anything physically on the map?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, you see them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to not see.
Well, right now my map is like lagging real bad, so
Oh, I know that.
There we go.
I know that feeling, buddy.
yeah, I can definitely see them.
Yeah.
Can they see me?
Oh, yeah. And it looks like they're all kind of drawing these leather thongs. And it looks like they're putting things inside of them.
Uh-oh.
Slings, you presume.
I take cover.
Okay. Felix.
I'm sorry, which character was that? Alamar?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So seeing Alamar run forward and hearing him say whatever, Felix goes, ugh. And he moves forward to here.
Okay.
I never said
barely
Almar
see
was
that
smart.
one. I can barely see this one.
Okay.
Would that still be within my effective range?
I mean, if you can barely see it, then yeah. If it's in dim light, then you have disadvantage on your attack roll. And I'm assuming you can only see it because of dim light, dark vision. So yeah, you have disadvantage on your attack roll.
Eldritch Blast.
Shoot it.
He steps around the corner and goes, "Rah!" and just like throws this Eldritch Blast out there.
Despite being solidly like dark black energy, it still lights up the hallway as it bolts through with this kind of dark light. It singes into one of the kobolds, the lead one, and blasts it back. The damage that seemed to have been just so easily, brushed off by the giant rat before seems to be quite lethal against kobolds.
And then I'm going to spend my remaining 15 feet of movement and move back this way. And as he heads back around the corner, he says to Alamar, he says, "Fall back!" He says, "You don't want to get stuck out here by yourself."
Oh, I know. He's gonna run back as soon as he can.
Bill.
I'll move up if I see anything here.
Yeah, just if you can see anything, you can see anything. At this stage.
No, so what I'll move back. I'm gonna ask if Santa can start a fire, and I'm gonna ready my bow.
Okay. Thanos.
Alright. Does anybody still have that torch I had before?
You?
I still had. I'll
No.
throw it in there then. Or do
But
I still have?
I would assume so, yeah. We'll
Alright,
just
I
say
will
you
throw
had it in
there.
your shield hand. You're carrying
Okay.
Reaper on one, yeah.
And then I will. So I'll throw it in there to like create a big bonfire in there. Then I was gonna move down and pull out a javelin.
Hold on.
Oh boy, I can't see anybody actually.
Hold on. Don't move.
All right.
I'm trying to manipulate tokens. As you toss the torch into the ash, the fire very quickly goes out.
Ah.
Did that seem unnatural? Or did
No.
it just seem like he threw it poorly and it got
There's just-
smothered?
It seemed like he threw it into a pile of ash, and it sunk into a bunch of dust and ash, and it extinguished the fire.
Right. You can't start a fire there unless there's something to burn. Jump in there, people. That would be horrible. All right, let's see. 5, 10. I'm gonna move forward.
I believe he said there's already bones in there.
Yep.
Can I move that? Can I move up through the fire or that place right there?
Yeah, if you can
Oh,
move.
okay. I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I gotta move up here to help. Oh my gosh, how come it's so dark over here?
Mm.
It's like
But you lost your light source.
Aha. Well,
Using
that's
my
not good.
using my light source right now.
Well, I think what I would do then is once I figure that out, I just kind of stop right around here. I'd get out a javelin in case I see one of them running up. I'll attack it.
Sure. Yeah. You hear again. Now, yeah, you stay. But then you hear another voice, a bit more feminine. Interlopers! In common. Leave. Or submit yourself to sacrifice.
No thanks.
Her options were leave, or commit yourself to sacrifice. Your response was, nah.
No thanks.
Okay.
Everybody else is free to answer on their own, but that's what my answer is.
Everin.
Guess I should provide some light for our Goliath buddy.
Yeah, I can't really see all that great. Ooh, now I can see. Your light shines in the corridor.
I don't see anything though.
I don't see anything either.
The second you take that position, as soon as it stops moving, you're diagonally behind the Goliath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys watch as a flicker of light kind of sparkles from the hallway, and this bolt of kind of rainbow energy kind of stops and becomes more of like a whitish color, as a bolt of white energy kind of is flung from the hallway. And if this will let me cast it.
Oh no, we're gonna die. It's nice knowing you guys.
A chromatic orb. Does 14 hit your armor class?
Not
Me?
mine.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. A bolt of energy slams into the stone wall behind you and causes the stone to freeze.
That would have almost one-shot me if it did.
Yeah.
Okay, one can hope.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay.
Get the hell out
That's
of
a
here,
good
guys.
bueno.
Alamar.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall back again after I
Uh,
see that.
I am going to fire an arrow, then fall back.
Okay. At one of the
Onto-
close targets? Or just into
Yeah,
the... Okay.
this one.
Gotcha. Take a shot. And it's
And-
in dim light because of dark vision, so it's at disadvantage. Take your shot.
Yeah. Still, I'll take the shot and then fall back.
Understandable.
13?
That'll hit a kobold, yeah.
Nice. Let's see. 10 points.
That's a dead kobold.
Nice.
Nice.
And then you said
And
you're moving?
I'll fall back to here.
Okay, as you kind of remove yourself from the cover and kind of start to dart away, the remaining kobold with the sling will launch a volley at you, as will
Oh, boy.
a kobold here. I can't ping it, but basically it's in the hallway up to the north corner there. Bear with me here. Again, lag. Kobold sling number 1. 16
That hits.
for 3.
3.
For 3!
That kind of hurt.
Oh, come on, lag.
Doesn't hurt as much as lag hurts.
And then the
Oh, yeah.
the other
Doesn't
one.
hurt as much as that fucking chromatic orb would have.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah, that would have killed. That's 17 damage. I thought it said.
6. Actually, you rolled a really bad perception, so that one would have been hidden from you. 15.
Misses.
Okay. So another bullet comes flying out. All right, and you go ahead and retreat. You retreated to that position there.
Yep.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Go out the door when you get a chance.
Another perception. Let's see. 18?
As you kind of take that position and look at the features of the wall that you're adjacent to, you notice that there does appear to be a hidden secret door that you're adjacent to now. That door that looks like a door, it is a door, but I couldn't tell you it was a door because it's a trap door. It's a secret door.
Wow.
They
Hidden door.
they make weird maps, man.
We're teaching Willem everything now.
I,
Bill's so confused. Now it is a door.
Floor door.
I quickly pointed out.
Okay. Felix.
Go in the floor door. Faux door. Oh yeah. I think that's the spelling though. F-A-U-X.
What are you doing, Chad?
Oh shit. I don't know. Did Olimar mention the door?
Yeah, I pointed it out.
There's a door there.
Felix is going to take a moment to think, and then he's going to frantically try to search the door over and try to figure out how to open it.
Sure. It'll take your action to do so, but with the advice from him, it won't require a check. When you open the door, inside you see a small holding pen, and it looks like there are 3 kobolds with their weapons drawn and ready. Looks like they were moving towards the door to open it themselves to engage you. I'm trying to get rid of the dynamic lighting for the door.
Instant enemies.
I think I have, but you basically just, created more enemies for your cause.
Oh.
In Draconic, he says, "Damn it!"
you still have, you still have movement.
He runs this way.
Okay.
To this
Wouldn't that
corner.
cut off my reaction though?
Yeah, the one in the far back. Take your shot. That'll hit, and it, in the great spiriting of Chad being the one who caused this problem, you chat him. Perfect. All right. And then Felix, you back away to not the safest route out. Okay. Bill?
I hit the same one I just hit.
Okay. Double tap. She's going full Legolas, dudes. Watch out.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll hit. The first hit kind of like catches him in the shoulder and he starts bleeding, and then the second hit hits him in the neck and kind of pins him against the wall. He drops his weaponry. The other 2 look a bit nervous, but still focused. Alright, Thanos.
Alright, okay. Oh man, you know what, guys? Alright, I'm going to go... First thing I'm going to say is, why are you running up that direction? Next I'm going to do is...
Well, basically, I'm hiding inside the corner of this doorway. I'm not going to run down this hallway. I just want some cover.
5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to come up to that door, look in there, and then throw a...
The javelin you had armed. Okay.
Yep. This... Wait, which one was the one that was hit already? Was it this guy or...
There's one that's dead and 2 that haven't been touched.
Oh, okay. I'll throw it at this guy then, since he's close.
That's the dead one. I'm trying to mark it.
Oh, sorry. Alright, then I'll go to the other guy.
Okay.
The guy straight across from me. Doo-doo, let's throw a javelin. Children. Alright, I rolled 23 to hit, and javelin does 9 piercing damage.
It's another dead kobold.
Woo! And then after that, I am going to step back here, because I still have a little bit of movement left.
Okay.
Can we shut that secret door?
Yeah, you opened it.
Alright, I'll just try to shut it, and then move back.
As you inspect it, you realize it's going to take an action to do so.
Oh, forget it then. Alright, guys.
Yeah, you get meta. You're like, I don't know what an action is, but I know that's what I need.
Yeah, I know that's not good. Hey, you know, I point down to this door and say, guys, if we want to run, we might want to choose that door, where we know where we're going. But, you know, just saying. Alright.
Okay. Kobolds start to kind of form line at the passageway. And it looks like these ones are armed with slings. One of them has a line on Alamar, but Alamar will have cover. The other one will put up its shield in defense. Taking a single shot at Alamar, you have +2 to your AC for the shot. So miss.
Yep.
Skip rocks off the stone wall. And it sounds like at least a dozen, at least, if not more, of these kobolds have started to make their way down the hallway.
Sounds like we better get out of here.
Everett.
From the other hallway, Felix says, I concur!
I'll shoot 2 of them. Or 1 first, I guess.
Are you moving out to the open to do so?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the
Okay.
door.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 at disadvantage. Sling attacks.
Goodbye, guys.
15.
That's a miss.
13. And then at
Miss.
disadvantage, miss.
Miss.
And last but not least, the source, or the shaman. Sorry, 1 second here. Yeah, got you in range. If my computer would work, I could click the button and I'd cast a spell at you, but it's not working. Cast
You're
the
going
spell.
all hard on us.
Oh, I gotta do it 2 more times. 1, 2, 3.
Magic missile. Oh no. Those hit
So
automatic.
9 points of damage to you.
Oof.
9's just enough.
You guys watch as 3 bolts of blue energy chase after the rocks and knock Everin to the ground.
Uh-oh. Fly, fly, the enemy is upon us.
Alanor.
I'm going. Let me check something real quick. Okay. I am going to quickly move to here and cast Lay on Hands.
Okay.
I'll dump all the remaining 3 I have onto him.
Okay. 3 hit points back.
Could I like drag him back and move him back the rest of my movement?
It would be an action to drag him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you lay on hands him. You could move down diagonally 1 square so that you're in between him and any fire that comes at him, though.
Do what?
You could stand in between him and the shooting if you wanted. No.
I think we should. We're trying to get away, right? Are we fighting?
Yep, that's where we gotta go.
So their reactions are all used, and now's the best time to run
Run.
to the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start running,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I'll use the rest
Now,
of my
did you
movement to get to
literally,
here.
did you actually say run out loud?
Yeah, I think that was said out loud, yeah.
Yeah.
The big man? Did the big man just say run?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you did.
because I'm thinking that these guys are gonna start killing people if we don't get out of here.
Felix.
Okay. That's all Felix needed to say. As death looms closer and closer, Felix starts basically having like panic attacks and like PTSD episodes.
Oh,
You actually have a moment, like a flash, where you see nothing but like the skyline become, like the walls and everything become fire, Chad, and you see a silhouette of someone standing over you with like arcane glyphs glowing around their fingertips, as if they had just cast a spell, and then everything goes black for a moment, and then you kind of and realize like, oh shit, like you're having flashbacks of the last moments of your life before.
Ah! And that's what Felix is saying. He's just going ah! And he just goes tearing past everybody.
Bolt.
Just goes runs screaming out of the place.
Taking the dash action.
Yeah, I'm gonna move my full 30 feet first.
Okay. Well, if you take the dash action, you change your speed of 30 to 60. And then Bill.
That's you, Nat.
I want to hit this guy before I run, or before I walk off here.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the room. No,
Oh,
the one.
sorry.
Oh, is that guy there?
Full
Dead?
tilt. He goes
The-
running out of the room.
Apologies. The guy to the south in that room is dead. He's got a javelin impaling
okay.
him. I'm having a hard time clicking. Here, let me see. Did it exit? Is he X'd? Is there an X on him yet?
Why don't you
There he goes.
dash out of here?
He's dead. There's one more in there, but it's in the back wall, so.
I'll use my full movement then. 35.
Are you dashing or?
I will, but I'm gonna bonus action heal before I leave.
Okay. Healing word. Cool, 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 cool. Thanos.
Alright. I am going to... He's prone, so I'm going to go... I'm going to pull out like a javelin as I'm moving. And go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then kind of... Ooh, boy, I can see some. So can I throw a javelin? And like if this guy... The guy on the top and the guy on the bottom there, are they at like disadvantage if I attack them? Or
One of them has its shield up. Looks like a shield similar to Meepo's. The other one, it looks like it just deposited its sling. Based on angles, you presume that's the one that fired at Alamar and missed.
oh, okay. Well, then that's the one I will throw a javelin at.
Okay, take the shot.
Take the shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
It's true.
Did that work? Now it's
I don't know. Everything's lagging. Tonight's a weird night.
like Halloween, but not really.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are playing tonight, I guess.
Maybe. I just clicked on it more than once. All right, it'll probably go a bunch of times. If it goes like 3 times, I'm taking the best out of 3. I think that's the way it works.
Sure.
That's what I was told one time.
Yeah.
All right, maybe it's not working. I don't know. Oh, all right. Son of a bitch. Now it's lagging for me, guys. It was never do. How about I just click on my axe? Oh, I know why it wasn't working. Shit. Never mind, guys. That was on me. All right. So my low one is a 14.
Okay, yeah, that hits.
And then damage is 10 piercing.
You
so.
throw a javelin right through him.
Sweet.
The one behind him has to kind of dart to the side to not get hit as well.
Good. And I wish I could leave, but I can't because I'm waiting for the last man down to crawl out of here.
Okay.
And I just get my shield and I'm ready for him to come out.
Oh, no, you don't.
and
Because
kill us all.
attaching a shield is an action.
Okay. Wait a minute. I thought I had my... Yeah, I would have had my shield from before, didn't I?
You said you pulled out your axe and put your shield
Alright.
on your back with Meepo.
Oh, that was a while.
And that's when he
You're right.
darted away from you. Yeah.
All right. I'm just waiting to get killed.
Well, the one of you is prone, so you're a harder target.
Yeah, he'll be harder to hit.
One of you is standing, so you're a bit.
Could I go... Could we both go prone? No. I can't go prone. I'm not going to do that.
You're a
I
bit.
gotta let him attack me and kill me.
You're a bit easier on the eyes when it comes to targeting.
You're right. I'm big.
I'm gonna try and get as many of these things as I can moved into the door frame. But everything is lag. Let me just actually here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should be able to get 5, and then 2 in disadvantage range. Okay, hold on a sec.
That's not good.
So first 2 elites, 3 points and 6 points, so 9 for you.
Oof.
And then the
Is that
normal
like-
ones.
Oh, shit.
Who was that to?
Oh, this is to the
That's
Goliath. Yeah, the standing one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go down, guys. Oh, wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
You have your
Hold on,
reaction.
hold on,
to
hold on.
use
Do you
damage.
want to react to the crit?
To the crit? Yeah, I will. I'll react to the crit. I'll
Roll
use
your
my
D12.
Stone's Endurance.
Yep.
So it's a D12. Alright. Because I'm gonna need this one. I rolled a 5 for people at home,
Okay.
so it did 1 damage instead of 4.
Good deal, good deal. I think you add something to that too. Your con
Do I?
modifier.
My con modifier? Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
3.
so no damage. You took 0 damage.
Right, on that, just that attack.
Alright. Then we got regular kobolds, a total of 3 of them. So 4 damage.
4 damage. Alright, I got 3 left.
Right? You have a 16 AC or 17?
15.
Oh, then
Actually, so I take more damage.
a total of 8 on that then, yeah. You still standing?
No, I'm unconscious now.
Okay. So as you fall to the ground, the 2 at disadvantage are just going to hurl them off the distance because they're shooting at you. So basically, these 2 attacks, I'm just going to throw them. If one of them magically gets over anything, I'll roll randomly to see who it hits the prone targets. Sound good?
Sounds good.
13 misses both of you. That might do something. High or low? Kai.
High high.
All right. So it got low, so not what you wanted. So that means the target will be you. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Ooh, he might still be alive.
Yeah, it's a good thing I got healed.
You see, well off in the distance, in just the limelight, one of the kobolds appears to have something kind of extending from the top of its head. Looks like some sort of headdress. All right. You're up. Everin. Sorry.
So I'll stand up.
Half your movement.
Can since he's prone, I can walk over him, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's an action to drag him.
Yeah,
Fine.
and
You could get him.
action to drag, and I'll pull him in.
Yeah, you can
By
get
the
him.
door, and I'll
Go ahead.
and I'll ask Alomar to shut the door, unless I can.
Yeah, and you can move him to behind Alomar. So.
Yeah, I'm dragging him basically on my square, basically.
Yeah. Okay. And then, Alomar, are you shutting the door?
Yep.
Okay, so just so you know, the door that you're currently closing, it's obviously set up to defend against outward interference. So from where you came from, what that means is that when you opened it inward. So when you close it, the opposition, if they wanted to, you can't really bar it or anything unless you hold it. So if they wanted to exit or enter into your hallway, all they'd have to do is pull the door inwards towards them. They kind of have the advantage
Right.
on the door opening process. But it's not an action to close it. It is an action to try and hold it closed. But if you just want to close it and then move, you can do that as well.
Oh, so I could possibly like shoot an arrow then close it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shoot at this guy right here.
Okay.
Does the 10 hit?
It does not.
All right then.
He kind of like looks like he's getting ready to follow up on you guys, and you kind of pull your fire your arrow. He kind of stops and hesitant, and the arrow kind of pings against the stone wall. Felix, I assume, is continuing to run.
And I close the door after that.
Yes, of course. Chad.
Vision of my previous death still fresh in my mind. Felix does not know any of this other shit going on behind him.
It's literally get to fresh air right now. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's in like a wild claustrophobic panic.
Okay, don't worry about your character. I'm pretty sure you'll make it, so we'll let you no problem. Film.
I'm gonna healing word.
Okay, on Goliath Man.
Yep.
All right. And then, are you going to continue to retreat?
I will, but I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm gonna hold an action to shoot an arrow if they try to open that door.
Okay. Thanos.
Right, I believe I could use second wind, I suppose. I just got healing worded though, so. But I go up a D10 of hit points, so I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, smart.
That's what is it? A type of action is that?
Oh, bonus action for second.
Bonus.
Bonus action. Okay, so I'll do a D10 because.
Plus 1.
4.
Yep.
I think it rolled for you in your chat.
Oh, it did. You're right. I hooked, put it on there, so that's even better.
Yeah, 5 plus
5.
1, so 6.
6. All right, 6. All right, so that's good. I'm almost back to my max. I'm like, aha! I'm ready to fight. And but we're trying not to die at this moment, right?
Yeah, the door is shut behind you, so.
All right. So I guess what I would do then is, like, what do we plan on doing, guys? We're gonna like keep moving back away from here. That's the plan. So I would say, all right, you two guys go, and then I'll go. Where did everybody else go?
It looks like they're heading back down to the towerway. It seems like Felix is bolting straight for the stairway.
All right, actually, I'm gonna stand. I'll stand right here and then let those guys bolt out.
Okay. So, real quick, it goes to them. From the sounds of it, it sounds like whatever the feminine-sounding kobold, it sounds like she's barking orders in Draconic. Of course, Felix is too far away to hear it, and I don't think anyone else was speaking Draconic. But it sounds like she's barking orders, and it sounds like they're kind of mobilizing inside of that main chamber that you were just in. That said, Alamar and Everin, you guys are still at the door. I'm assuming on your initiative you will retreat.
That's my plan.
Okay, if that's the case, we're going to go ahead and cycle it out of initiative. The presumption is you guys are going to retreat, and they're not going to run into a bottleneck like idiots. They would if she wasn't there, but they don't chase immediately after. It sounds like they were getting ready to kind of have a standoff, but you guys weren't having it. You make it to the stairs, you make it up to the ledge. The first one to the rope is Felix, kind of out of breath. And I assume eventually you guys climb yourselves back up out of a hole and make your way back to the camp to report. As a note, I will be...
Wait, did anybody die?
No.
Okay, excellent.
As a note, when you do arrive at the camp, you will notice that there are a couple of additions, and I'll be posting this to the group to post. It does look like they have encountered something out in the field and have combated things and defeated them. Weird, strange creatures made out of plant material. That said...
Wait, you said when we get back, there's new people at the camp and they're fighting?
No, not new people. These things that have been destroyed by the camp. They were fighting against these weird plant creatures. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream, and then I will be awarding experience. One moment.
Nice.